No, that's I thought of smell before you taste. I mean, I think one of the questions I had actually kind of relates to that. It's like, is there a certain? This is something that I've thought about a lot lately. Like you know, sometimes you have like a smell and like it reminds you something from your childhood. Like
Yes,
that's a thing, right? Like as you with you being a sensory
absolutely.
expert, can you tell like why that
So
happens? Like what causes that?
I'm not totally sure why, but one of the things that Kevin had taught me is that scent is that through line in your history where it is so closely connected to memories. And actually, like a cool thing that he did with his wife is he built a fragrance that they both smelled before they walked down the aisle on their wedding day, and then
Oh
they
wow.
re-smell it on their anniversary, and that
Oh,
helps them
that's
like
that's adorable.
really
I love
remember
that.
the day. And I don't know what it is, but yeah, there are definitely just those like moments where it's like you smell something, it absolutely transports you.
Yeah, it must just be tied with just memory, and it's just I've never been able to explain it. And whenever it happens to me, it's just like a flash. It's like I
Oh
get
yeah.
like just a flash of like a memory, and I'm like, and it's all based on smell. So like that's something that I've just never really explored very much, just fragrance in general. So that's really interesting.
Yeah, it was a cool angle to look at cocktail building through, especially because to begin, I was just always thinking about like how does the spirit pair with the food? Um,
Hmm.
moving into that, it was like, okay, how does flavor pair to fragrance? And then going to frame, um, because we were redecorating and we were kind of resetting the scene for every new dinner and every new chef. It was like, okay, so how is atmosphere playing into the experience that you're having? And that includes the playlist, and that includes the lighting, and not just
Oh
the,
right.
the brightness but also the color. There are so many variables and elements to like how are you really experiencing what you're tasting. And so I feel really lucky that I've gotten to explore those avenues, and I cannot wait to find new ways to apply them to whiskey. I have some ideas for like new experiences in 2026 that I'm building out, but not ready to talk about yet.
Okay. Well, a couple comments came in. Doug says everyone has seen whiskey reviews where they say I don't want to taste it, I just want to smell it all day. Oh, I can attest. There are certain whiskeys that I'm just like I want a candle of this exact smell. Like it sometimes it's so beautiful of a nose. Fancy Frenchy says smell is such a huge part of what and how we taste things. Memory of scent can influence what you taste. Smell oranges but never taste them can evoke the memory regardless of not having it. Absolutely. Then, of course, Michael comes in with the science perspective because the olfactory nerve dumps in your brain near the memory centers in your
Amygdala.
amygdala. So memory is so tied to cell. Okay, that's a little too advanced for me after having several bourbons, but thank you, Michael, for your input. All right, I do have two. I have two final questions for you. So,
Yeah.
here's one. What has been the I don't want to say craziest because I feel like that's like putting in a category. What has been the most obscure food and whiskey or cocktail pairing that you feel like you've ever done or you've seen done?
Ooh. So, haha, I actually got to put together a whiskey and caviar pairing uh,
Oh,
in
okay.
Texas a couple of months ago. And it was my first time doing that. But to me, it made a lot of sense because people love to pair uh, caviar and champagne. But to
Hmm.
me, I think of champagne as a palate cleanser. It's
Mhm.
light, it's bubbly, it's cutting through. All the more delicate flavors from the caviar, whereas I think that whiskey kind of sits on the palate a little longer
Sure.
and lets you meld the two flavors. So it was a lot of fun. And when I think of okay, a long, long time ago, um, I had a it was a duck tongue dumpling wrapped in a nasturtium. And a nasturtium is like it's an edible flower that the
Hmm.
leaves look like little lily pads, but they taste super peppery.
Oh,
Um,
interesting. Okay.
and I
Wow.
had that with some rye whiskey, and it was like, I want to say back in 2014. And it is a combination that I still think about that I know I'm just never going to encounter again.
Yeah, that sounds like yeah. Unless you're in like some really, I mean, like you said, but you've like worked with some really high end like chefs and like you said, like 15 course
Yeah,
menus. That's I can't imagine how expensive that'd be in Los Angeles. I can imagine in
yeah,
Michigan
astounding,
too.
I'm sure.
Oh, Adam mentioned he said like yeah. So a couple years ago we did a Scotch wine and cheese pairing event where we found a bunch of different scotches that were all finished in different wine casks, and then we bought each of those wines that the Scotch was finished in. So we
Oh,
tasted the wine and we tasted the Scotch, and then we had a cheese sommelier, I guess you would call them, that paired each wine with the cheese. It was such a fun
I
experience.
bet that would be delightful.
Yes, it was crazy. It was definitely something beyond like my skill level, but I will say I enjoyed the hell out of it. All right, I do have one last question. Okay, so as we talked about, Bardstown does all these collaborations. Do you have a dream collaboration that you would not necessarily would like to see done at Bardstown, just in the world of whiskey? What is a collaboration that you think hasn't been done, but you think would just be a fantastic pairing of whether it's a different spirit, whether it's a different probably spirit, I don't know, free range. What would be your dream
Okay,
collaboration?
so that's a good one, and I'm gonna stall for a second by saying we did one of my dream collaborations. We did a Bardstown finished in Amaro Nonino barrels,
Okay.
and that was so delicious, but also just not a lot of it ever existed, so gone instantly. But ooh, man, I don't know. I'm gonna be honest. I feel like if I could come up with that dream pairing, then I would be the new master blender.
Right.
Uh,
You don't want to give away your secrets.
yeah, well, I mean, I would love to see more Amari finishes. I
Mm.
think that like bittersweet Italian liqueurs, they're so complex, they're so interesting, and I'll never be mad at the combination of my two loves. Um,
How do you, okay, follow up question. For someone that's never really gotten to like Amari's and things like that, like how do you recommend someone gets into it? Do you think they should just try it on its own first or in a cocktail that they know they
yeah,
like?
I
Like
would
what's
say
your
okay.
recommendation?
I would say try it on its own and figure out where on the spectrum you fall because there are like lighter, sweeter ones like Maletti, which is like rose, caramel, saffron notes, and then there are things like Fernet, which are
Hmm.
dark
Right.
and bitterish.
I
Uh,
have that's one of the few that I have had.
yeah, and so I feel like figuring out which end of the spectrum you're on helps you like kind of hone in. Um, and I'm trying to think of like if I had any to recommend, be like, hey, go out and find this one immediately.
Yeah, for
Uh,
like a beginner, for like someone that is curious, because I will say like I do appreciate it. There's certain ones like I prefer a little bit more of the citrus element than the extreme bitter. Like the if it's too bitter, I can't get behind it unless it's in a cocktail. But I do like
okay.
I'm not opposed to them. Like I'm very new to them. How about that?
I'd say if you've never had Maletti, go find that one.
Okay.
That's my number one favorite, and
Okay.
that with soda water and like a splash of
Hmm.
lime is like that's my summertime sipper.
I
I
was
probably drink 100 of those a year.
yeah, my friend bought me something that was trying to get me into it, and he actually just said the same soda water and lime is the best I drink. Not that one, but it was a different, it was a craft one from where he was based at.
Oh
So
yeah.
I do love that flavor combination. Yeah, Shy Guy says I love the Amaro Nonino, but so pricey. Oh, Tony actually has the Amaro Bardstown. He said it's
Oh, that's cool.
one of his 42 expressions of Bardstown
Well,
bourbon. You
thank
have
you
a
for
super
being
fan in the
a
chat.
fan.
Oh, that's
Um,
awesome.
Another
Well,
Amaro that I would say, like, try to find is a Amaro Lucano.
okay.
That's another one that's like, I think, incredibly tasty.
Gotcha. Okay, I'm gonna go back to the stream next time I'm in the liquor store and find out
Yeah.
which ones because I definitely want to explore that because I know it's such a I love finding new categories of spirits. Like I said, first it was bourbon, then I expanded to Scotch, then I got into American single malts, gins. Like I'm slowly expanding my. uh I don't want to expand my library because it's very expensive, but I'll keep my library to whiskey. But when I go out to a bar, I love trying a new spirit. So that's gonna be
So
on my list.
the other reason that I love Amari and having them on your back bar is that you can do 1,000 riffs on Manhattans with them. Like most of the time,
It's
people are
true.
like, okay, Black Manhattan, you use Averna. Totally, but any Amaro, when paired with the right whiskey, makes a ton of sense. I think that Braulio gets along really well with our rye. Like I think it's got some like dark green notes, whereas our rye has like light green notes, and then the two of them together make a delicious baby. Um, and yeah, like if you get the Amaro Lucano, makes a really, really nice Manhattan with the wheat that we tried tonight.
Oh,
So
nice. Okay. Well, that sounds like how I'm going to probably use my last, because I do still have quite a bit of that one. I'm excited to do it in a cocktail. Like I said, the whole time I was trying it, I was like, this would be just fantastic in a cocktail.
yay.
Awesome. Well, Jazz, I know I don't want to keep you too long, but thank you so much. This has been so much fun. You are welcome back anytime. If there's any new products you guys have coming out that you're excited about, you want to share with us, please let me know. Please have someone reach out. I would love to have you back on the channel to talk about more. Like I said, huge fan of Bardstown here, and these expressions are no exception. It's just really incredible whiskey.
Well,
I know you said that you don't want to tease like what's next because there's a lot in the works. If you were to give one note to someone that's like, what can we expect from Bardstown Bourbon Company in the next 1 to 2 years? Do you have any idea?
so there will certainly be more 375 distillery only finished releases. I know that for a fact. We have a couple of collabs coming out next year. One of them, bartenders are going to go crazy for. One of them, I think, is going to satisfy Scotch fans. And Discovery 14 will be coming out right around the Kentucky Bourbon Festival. So September-ish of next year. And that's all I can tell you.
I mean, that's enough of a tease. That gets me excited. Before we go, Jay Wendell said, I just bought the Discovery 13 today. Excited to try it this weekend. Nice,
Hey,
nice.
thank you. Thank you for your support. And yeah, actually, I'll see about getting you some the other three origins sent to you, and then we can travel down that path too.
Absolutely, anytime. Well, where can people find you? I know Bardstown Bourbon Company, but where can people find you on the web if people are curious to follow your journeys?
Great question. You can find me at jazz.distilled on Instagram. So JAZ period distilled. They keep me on the road about 230 days out of the year.
Wow.
My schedule is built by invitation, so I'm always happy to be where I'm at and excited to share about it if you want to see what I'm up to.
That's awesome. Well, I can't wait to have you back on. Those of you that are Byte Club members, we will be doing our after party hangout on Discord. Jazz, you're welcome to join us. I know you said you're a night owl. We do a bit of a hangout on Discord, just like with a few members of our community. No pressure. Again, I know it's late, but if you want to, I'll send you the link to it just in case you want to drop in.
Send me the link.
Okay, I'll send you the link. Just hang on after I end the stream. Just hang on just a bit, and I'll get that info over to you. But thank you everyone so much for watching. This has been a lot of fun. Next week we have another special guest joining us from a Colorado distillery that I've never had on the channel before. And I'm very, very excited. Then I'm going to take the week of Christmas off, and then the week after that is my top 10 whiskeys of the year. So stay tuned. It should be a lot of fun. But definitely check out Bardstown Bourbon on social. They have a great profile on Instagram, especially. Follow Jazz, of course, as well. I'll drop her link in the description below. But yeah, hope everyone has a wonderful weekend. And if you have any questions, feel free to send them my way. I'll forward them on to the Bardstown Bourbon Company's team and see if we can get some answers for you. But I'm very, very excited for what's next. So thank you again, Jazz.
Oh, thank you for your hospitality, guys.
Of course. Cheers, everyone. I'll see you guys next week. Bye. Ventura, California, is actually celebrating my 5-year wedding anniversary. So I'm not at home, but I am very excited to be doing this stream because I've been looking forward to it for a really long time. So I want to say a shout out to everyone. I want to say a quick shout out to everyone in the chat. There we go. That's what I meant to say. I saw some people were hanging out earlier. I see Whiskey Burger in the chat. Emily Chambers. Good to see you, Emily. Zofer's in the chat. I'm here in California with you, Clifton. Yeah, it's over. You're one of the few because so many people are hanging out with Perry over in Kentucky for the This Is My Bourbon weekend meetup. I'm so jealous. I really wish I was with you guys. But for those of you that are at the meetup, enjoy the meetup. If you're watching the replay, say hello in the chat below. But good to see you, Zophar. Thank you for hanging out with me in California. Sugar Kitty's in the chat as well. Sugar Kitty, good to see you. I'm so glad to see you here tonight. I'm glad that we. I was worried about this because I knew I'd be in a hotel room, and I was a bit worried that I would not have good internet signal. But so far, so good. So if you guys have any issues throughout the night and you see oh, my audio or my video is glitching out, please let me know. I have a couple of backup options. But it's up to you guys to let me know if that happens. But so far, so good. Lil, all the way in Australia, says cheers and happy Friday. Happy Friday to you, Lil. It's not quite Friday here yet, but Friday is our actual anniversary, so we're here a day early. Death with Dogs in the chat. Good to see you. Mr. Jigs. Hello, everyone. Cheers to you, Mr. Jigs. Cliffy looks ready for the summer. Hey, I've been hanging out in Ventura. I've been having a good day so far. We've visited a lot of breweries, and there's actually a really cool cocktail bar we actually just got back from. It was called Justin, what was it called? Rocks and Drams. Drums and Drams, Rocks and Drams, Dungeons and Drams. I get confused, but it was Rocks and Drams here in Ventura. Really, really fantastic. The bartenders there were incredible. But you know what's also incredible? Our guest here tonight. So please welcome to the show, Jason Bronner from Buzzard's Roost. Jason, welcome to the show.
How you doing?
Good. I was so focused. So I had just listened to my friend Perry's podcast right before this, and I realized he messed up your last name. I'm like, I'm not going to mess up his last name. And I was so focused on that I forgot the brand. So apologies.
Look, I've been called worse, so it's not a
That's
big
true.
deal.
So, Jason, I'm so glad to have you on the show. I've heard so much about Buzzard's Roost, and I'm really interested to try some of these more recent expressions that you guys have been doing. I know, like I said, a lot of my viewers are friends of Perry and viewers of Perry's podcast. And you guys introduced yourselves as like the rye people, but now you're venturing out into some interesting finishing, some toasted barrels, and even barrel strength bourbon. So I'm so excited to have you on to talk about these.
Yeah, what's crazy is I've been a bourbon guy forever. Mm-hmm. And everybody thought when I came out with my ryes, it's like, have you tried Jason's bourbon? And it's like, I had to tell them for years, it's, a couple of years, it's not bourbon, it's rye. So we didn't do bourbon till just recently. So, but we really did start with ryes. So.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know you said on like previous interviews that you're not really a rye guy, but you guys got into rye because you wanted to bring rye to like bourbon drinkers, right? So that's really interesting because I started as a bourbon drinker for sure. I feel like I've ventured out to rye, but that's not to say that I'm not still a bourbon drinker. I'm still a bourbon drinker at heart. So I'm really excited to try some of these more bourbon forward ryes that we're trying tonight, as well as your barrel strength bourbon, which we're going to get to a bit later. So for the people that are new to you, and like I said, a lot of my viewers are also friends of Perry. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got started with Buzzard's Roost?
Well, it depends how long you've got. I mean, I'm kind of old, but I started out. I actually opened a restaurant when I was 21. Mm-hmm. So I got in the restaurant business very early. I had a lot more time than I had money. But that gave me a palate. I'm not quite a chef, but I feel that I've been in the food industry for long enough to know what good stuff tastes like. So I opened Bourbons in 2005. And I always tell people, so that was 17 years ago. We've been doing the bourbon thing for quite a bit. And, we were out to kind of educate the world about bourbon. I think at that time it was somewhat undermarketed, and there's so many flavors in bourbon. We were just, like I said, we were out to educate the world about bourbon.
So you guys got started just a few years ago, right? Like when did you guys get started?
So with the Buzzard's Roost, we got started in 2019.
Oh wow! So very, very recently. That's awesome. Yeah.
And to me, it was a natural progression because Bourbon's Bistros started in 2005, and we had, we did some of the, we had flights, and I mean, really, we were kind of one of the first bourbon bars, bourbon restaurants. But what that drew me to is my progression was to have my own whiskey label. Mm-hmm. And after meeting every master distiller and tasting all these great whiskeys and doing single barrel programs and things, I realized that I wanted my own whiskey. So, in 2019, a few years before that, we had planned on starting a distillery. Had a hard time raising $30 million, so we decided to, we decided to source some whiskey.
Mm.
Um, but if you talk any master distiller, about 70% of the flavor comes from the wood. So, I mean, we're very transparent about where we source from. We're sourcing from MGP, and what we do in our rebarreling process kind of makes all the difference in the world. And that's kind of a quick synopsis of bringing us up to date.
Sure. So, like you said,
So-
you guys aren't really trying to be out to make whiskey. You guys are out to mature whiskey, or you guys are doing something interesting with the barrel. Do you guys consider it finishing, or do you guys consider it extra aging? I'm just curious what you guys portray it as.
I mean, when you talk about finishing, I think Angel's Envy, which you got to love Wes and Lincoln Henderson for what a great concept of finishing. I think that's kind of finishing, but we almost do some extra aging. We use brand new 53-gallon white oak barrels for the most part. We do use some French oak in some of our work, but all of ours is through barrel maturation. We do a heavy toast, and we use an exclusive #1 char, which is kind of unheard of with the industry. I work very closely with Independent Stave Company, and we've developed over 15 finishing barrels that are proprietary to Buzzard's Roost. The same guy that developed my program developed the 46 program. And I would
really?
assume that a lot of your listeners are familiar with 46, where they put in the different staves.
Very much so. Yeah, I'm a huge fan of that.
Yeah. Well, we don't use staves; we use whole barrels, and so it makes a huge difference. And like I said, my experience in the whiskey business and talking to all the master distillers, where all the 70% of the flavor comes from the barrel, we almost reverse engineered it and worked our way backwards. Everybody's using MGP juice, which is great juice. But what you've got blending skills, and I think I have that, but we're taking it to the next level with finishing it in brand new barrels that we've charred and toasted, and through chemical extraction that Independent Stave does, the research that they do, we can bring the good stuff to the surface and leave the bad stuff behind.
Absolutely. So I see there are a few fans in the chat that are fans of what you guys are doing at Buzzard's Roost. I see Adam from Tennessee joining us, Swan from Kentucky, which I know you're based in Kentucky, Steven Sussman from New York, Lil from Australia. So we got people all over. Zopher also from California. I just want to give a couple shout outs. Mr. Jigs, I'm not sure where you're from, but he says, I've had the barrel proof rye, small batch rye, single barrel rye, and toasted. Hoping to find the cigar blend. Enjoy them all. Well, Mr. Jigs, we're going to get to some of those tonight. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm really excited to try these. So I told Jason a bit before, the only one that I've tried so far is the bourbon. But I'm really excited to try these different expressions of the rye. Like I said, I have the toasted barrel rye, the cigar blend rye, and the barrel strength bourbon. So we're saving the bourbon for last because I know you guys got started with rye. So I recall back to my friend Perry's podcast. You're not normally a rye guy. But what is it about the ryes that you guys are releasing through Buzzard's Roost that draws you in? Are they, like you said, the bourbon drinkers rye? Is that still how you feel about it?
Exactly. I got into a conversation with my friend. Now he's become a close friend because we spent so much time together. Is my friend down at Independent Stave Company, and he's in charge of their wood research department. And he was coming into bourbons for years, and then we started talking about this. He said, I'm doing some really cool things with some ryes. And I told him I absolutely hated ryes because, well, there's a place for ryes because in the cocktail world, there's definitely a place for ryes. They
Right, the
stand up.
spiciness from the cocktail. Like I was the same way. So I was 100% bourbon guy, but I actually got into rye from the cocktails. Like you said, the spiciness. I've since become a bit of a rye neat drinker, but it took me a while because of like how spicy it was. Were you kind of the same way?
Exactly. Because ryes I can never comfortably sit around and sip on.
Mm.
I mean, honestly, maybe I've got a sweet tooth or something, but I just could not honestly sit around and sip on ryes. So I said, if you can make me a sipping rye to where I can sit around and enjoy sipping a rye, then we've actually done something. And he gave me a couple of experimental things, and I'm like, I'm all in. Let's do this. Let's give it a shot and try it. And we really came up. I mean, it's in the name. It's sipping whiskeys, and I just love to slow down, sit around, and sip whiskeys, whether it's ryes or bourbons, or even an occasional scotch. So
Only occasionally.
yeah,
Yeah, definitely. I see Joe's dropping the links to you guys' website. So if you guys are curious more about Buzzard's Roost, feel free to check out their website after the stream. I also have it down in the description below. By the way, welcome, Joe. Thank you for tuning in. I see my friend Bill is here at Dungeons at Drams, which is another channel that I participate on Tuesday nights. So good to see you, Bill. Good to see a huge crowd out here tonight. So let's get started with our first whiskey, right? Let's talk about this first one that I have here. This is the Toasted Barrel Rye Whiskey. Can you tell us a little bit about this? I know this is relatively new.
yeah. Well, it actually came out last year.
Okay, relatively.
Well, I mean, we're relatively new, so it's all juxtaposition. But this is one that we do a very, very heavy toast. And we're very exclusive with number one char, but we did not use a char on this barrel because legally, if it's toasted, you have to say it's toasted. So
Okay.
we heavily toasted this barrel. It's a 95% rye, 5% barley from MGP. This is roughly, it may be 4 years old. We were working with some 3-year-old stuff. I think now we've graduated to 4 years. But it's a 4-year-old whiskey out of Indiana. We send it over here to Bardstown Bourbon Company. We rebarrel it. It sits in our barrels, depending on the weather and where it is in the warehouse, anywhere from 2 to 6 months. Okay, and then and toasted tends to react a little bit better than some of our other ones, just because it doesn't have that char layer it's got to fight through.
Sure.
But the toasted came out. This one last year won a double gold in the San Francisco World Spirits Competition, and this year we only got a gold. So we're a little deflated. We wanted a double gold 2 years in a row, but
still though, that's an awesome honor. That's actually one of the biggest spirits competitions I'm aware of. So that you guys got double gold and then gold, which is that's absolutely fantastic. Congratulations on that.
Yeah, that's the only competition that we send our spirits to, because for one, it's recognized by the industry as a whole, and two, we're just not out there trying to rack up awards. I mean, we want them to mean something. We're not, everybody gets a trophy type thing. Right.
So with this one, so this is a toasted rye. Like you said, you guys do like a level 1 char, so you're not doing too much charring on it. You're doing a lot of toasting. Which we don't really see too often. I know there's a couple other brands that do customize the toast and the char from MGP, but you guys, I think, as far as I'm aware, you guys are one of the first to do this. So I'm really excited to dive in to this one and see, what you guys have come up with here.
Yeah, well, have at it. I mean, you're not going to hurt my feelings either way. Some people totally love it, and then you get a few that don't. But we have about 7 different expressions out now. And so what's really cool is nobody falls into, we don't have that one that everybody loves. Like,
sure,
they gravitate towards this. It's all spread across the board. And, and I think we're doing our job because, we know that there's several different palettes out there.
Well, I'm excited to try this. So cheers. And thank you for sharing this with me.
Cheers.
Oh, wow. I was gonna say on the nose, it's similar to what I'm used to with like the 95.5 rye from Indiana, but I will say this has an extra layer to it, right? Like it's not just that. Because I've had plenty that are just that bottled and like, oh, here you go, your 95.5 rye. But you guys have done something really unique with it. So can you talk a little bit about like what the process is like when you're taking in those Indiana rye whiskeys? Like, what do you guys do? I know you guys put it into the barrels, but like, how long do you guys age them in the secondary barrels?
Well, what one good thing is we all have finally realized, especially being from Kentucky and here in Kentucky, that MGP makes good whiskey.
Mhm.
We're not taking bad whiskey and making it better. We're taking,
Right.
I think we're taking good whiskey and making it great. So
Mm.
we're starting with a good product. But with our toasting process and our barrel process, it's just a whole different gig that people haven't had the technology to. Like, I'm old school. I love the old school ways of doing things. But this new technology is really cool, and it's not like we're cheating. We're just using in every product, but this we're using a number one char, which is unheard of in the industry.
Mhm.
But we're really heavily toasting the barrels because through chemical extraction, we can tell what's going on, what we're pulling out of the wood. We're pulling the furfurols, the eugenols, the glycols, and leaving all the tannins and things behind. I mean, it's the science behind it's unbelievable, and there's still a little bit of art to the blending, but it's a beautiful thing. I mean, it's hard to explain. I mean,
No, and I see we have quite a few fans in the chat. Our friend Swan says the roosted chicken release was super fun from you guys. Can we expect more fun things like that? I'm not aware of that. Can you tell us a little bit about that one?
well, we did. This is one of our barrels that we've done. It is it's called a brewer's toast.
Mm.
So we toasted a barrel specifically to pair with whiskey and beer. So we did this barrel application. We made 2 barrels of just a 53-gallon barrel. We gave against the grain 1 barrel, and we took 1 barrel. We put whiskey in it. They put beer in it. Okay, same toast profile, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the day, they gave a beer can and we gave a little whiskey bottle, and you're supposed to kind of drink them side by side, right?
Mm.
And you could tell what the barrel put on each spirit. It was so cool because you would drink one and drink the other. They were meant to be drank side by side, and you could see the parallels that the beer put on 2 different spirits. It was really cool how much the barrel influences that.
Wow, that's awesome. I was not aware of that release, but that's super exciting.
It was very minuscule, and it was a cool thing. I think it was under marketed, but we do plan to do some other collaborations with some beer companies soon.
Yeah, our friend Zopher says that sounds fun. Yeah, Zopher's a big beer guy, so he's definitely excited about that one. Well, obviously, like I said, you guys are one of the first to do the toasted barrel, especially with Indiana whiskey.
Sure.
But I'm really excited about what's coming next. So you guys also have this cigar rye, which, by the way, I will tell you this. As soon as I announced to my patrons that I was doing Buzzards Roost on the channel, they said, "Please tell me you got the cigar rye to review." I'm like, "Yes, I did. I have not tried it until now, but everyone was so excited to hear my thoughts on this one." So tell us about this one. I know you kind of teased it on previous podcasts and streams, but what's up with the cigar rye?
We have this was another, our whole company right now, it seems just to be experimenting with things, and it's very fun. But we know we have great people on our board who has good palates, and I've kind of developed a palate over the years. So, we kind of think that we're on the right track. What we've done here with the cigar is we did our heavily toasted barrel. We draw all those sugars to the surface. We did a number one char, as we always do. But then we took some Kentucky tobacco and cold smoked the barrel with tobacco. So there was no really direct heat to it. we just basically, and I'm not saying too much about our process, but because we're transparent about everything we do, but some of the barrel stuff we can't talk about because
Sure.
somebody will try to copy it. But we actually blew tobacco smoke, Kentucky tobacco smoke, through the barrel for a certain amount of time. And the influence that it has was just from the smoke. And we have a sister product that we did that's called our peated barrel, which we're changing the name to called smoked barrel, which was done with some Highland peat. We actually imported some Highland peat from Scotland and cold smoked the barrel with some peat. And it's got these little scotchy tones to it. It's way cool. But the cigar rye is definitely close to my heart. Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say both of those. That's a very unique way of going about it. I know when other people have done like an Isla style rye, they either use the staves or they do more of a finishing versus the actual smoke. So I mean, even cigar, like when people say cigar blend or whatever, you think it's like it doesn't really mean much. You guys are literally smoking tobacco to like put into the barrel. I think it's unheard of, at least in my experience. So I'm super excited to try this one.
Yeah, I think there are a couple of cigars out there that, but I don't think they use the same process we do. I think
that's what I was gonna say. Yeah, it's totally different from whatever I've heard up to this point.
No, so we're all about, like I said, I'm old school, traditional of how things are done, but we use some new innovation that's still in that box. Like we're not cheating, we're not putting whiskey into flavored barrels or doing anything like that. All of our barrels are brand new. Like I said, 53 gallon. We don't use smaller barrels, anything like that. We use a heavy toast and a number one char. And we use them. They probably sit in our barrels for between 2 and 6 months. And then we don't use them again. So it's an expensive process, but we think it's well worth it.
I'm so excited to try this. I'm gonna go ahead and nose the cigar rye.
There it is.
Oh man, it smells so different than the toast that I just came off of. Ooh. What does this give you? Like, as someone that wasn't the biggest rye fan in the beginning, like what is special about the cigar rye to you?
There's so much going on with it. So I call our ryes bourbon drinkers ryes. So we've brought those bourbon flavors out of the barrel with the number one char, adding color and flavor, and then to smoke it with the tobacco because everybody knows that bourbon has these tobacco-y notes to it regardless. These leathery, tobacco, smoky flavors. So
right.
I think we've just enhanced that just a little bit. It's almost like the tobacco notes are on 10 at this point.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's like I said, like it's completely different than anything I've smelled in that territory before. So I'm looking forward to trying it. So cheers.
Cheers.
Oh wow, that's fantastic. That's actually right up my alley. Flavor wise, it has a bit of that like, wow, I wasn't expecting so much tobacco kind of flavor. That's legit. That's not even like just like a hint of tobacco. That's a lot of that. Wow, never experienced anything like that before.
Yeah, there's a lot going on there.
Yeah, I because when I hear I see that a few people in the chat have heard cigar before. Our friend Swan says Heaven's Door uses barrels that age cigars. You guys are out here using some voodoo with Kentucky tobacco. I love it. That's how I feel too. Like I've never had that much influence from the tobacco before. That works so well. Oh my gosh, I love this. This is actually fantastic.
Like I said, there's a lot going on. It's really cool. It's very complex. Like I said, it's all with the help of independent stave company. And what's crazy is, our company is small enough. We don't have to pay for that innovation, but we have utilized it. It's basically Independent Stave's wood research department, and we've utilized it, and we've locked down 15 proprietary barrels. So I don't know how it gets any better than that, really, because and we're still scratching the surface of what's going on with the wood and the research, but it's really cool.
Well, I was gonna say, like, I feel like I hear about Independent Stave, but I feel like there are a few other like cooperages that we've been hearing a lot about. But like, are there very many brands like yourself that actually work with like Independent Stave and like doing the custom barrels and things like that? I feel like I don't hear about that too often.
Well, I know that the wood research department down there, he was in charge of, like I said, the Makers 46 program,
Mm-hmm.
as well as I think he did Basil Hayden Toasted. And I know he does a lot of work with Jim Beam. He works with a lot of people around the country. We're not the only ones, but I think we're the ones to really take it by the horns and take full advantage of it.
Absolutely. I see a lot of people in the chat that are excited. Emily Chambers, which is one of our mods here, she says, I got to try the tobacco. And then Zopher, who's a patron, says, that sounds so fun and interesting. So suddenly they are very, very interested in this one. Yeah. I honestly, and I told you this before the stream, I haven't actually tried any of these other than I had a pour of the bourbon, which we're about to get to. This is my first time trying any of the ryes from you guys. Fantastic. That cigar rye. Now, can we talk a little bit about like where that's available? Because I'm in Southern California. Can I get that here, or is it like certain few states that we can actually get that in?
Well, unfortunately, I mean, even though we seem like we're kind of a test company, we're going to be in 15 states by the end of the year.
Okay.
We're also in I think Alberta, Canada.
Oh wow.
But that was truly and it's blown up. The media around it's been insane, but we truly only did 3 barrels of that.
Oh really?
Yeah, but it was a test market, and it was supposed to be just here for Kentucky, and we ended up sending I think a little bit to New Mexico and a little bit to Massachusetts, but we are going to do more of it. I can tell you that.
I was going to say, my opinion, do more of that, because I've had so much Indiana rye whiskey, which I didn't say this earlier, but I'm a huge fan of Indiana rye whiskey. I love the 95.5 mash bill, which you didn't mention mash bill. Is this the same mash bill as the 95.5?
That's all we do is 95.5 of our ryes from there are 95.5 always.
Gotcha. So I would say this is the most interesting twist on a 95.5 rye from MGP that I've ever seen. Yeah, so as a fan of that whiskey, that mash bill, do more of this. This is fantastic. I cannot recommend this enough.
We will. So we've definitely, and it takes a little process of what we're doing. So it has to sit in our barrels for several months, but we are laying more down, and there should be a little bit more in the fall, and hopefully it'll be in several other states.
That's super exciting. So let's go and move on to the bourbon, because I know the bourbon is relatively new for you guys. Like I said, my friend Perry, who a lot of these people are here from. By the way, I noticed there's a slightly smaller crowd than normal tonight. I will say Perry, our friend at This Is My Bourbon podcast, is doing his in-person meetup this weekend. So like literally starting today. So I know a lot of people aren't here that would normally tune in. Hopefully you guys can catch the replay. Please tune in, because I know, like, again, that's how I learned about Buzzards Roost and Jason, because of that podcast. So I'm looking forward to having you guys tune in later to talk about this. But this bourbon is relatively new for you guys. Can you tell us a little bit about this? This is the barrel strength.
Yeah, once again, we're of course we've got plans on having our own one day of all of our juice, but we are sourcing from MGP. This is 2 different mash bills, but they're both high rye mash bills. So we have a 21% rye mash bill. We have a 36% rye mash bill. There's 4 and 6 year blend. And then we finished it in 3 of our barrels, 3 of our finishing barrels. So there's a lot going on. This one comes in at barrel strength, because that's where we thought it just fit well. I think you should have about the 114. I would say.
So this one is 114.4. So right on track.
Right. So there's a lot going on.
Well, I was going to ask. So is this more of like a blend versus a single barrel, or with this release, is the barrel strength a single barrel, or is it like a small batch?
It's definitely not a single barrel. So what we did is
I'm not sure if we lost Jason or if we lost me. Let me see what I can do about this. If you guys are in the chat, and if we lost Jason, please let me know, because we could have lost me as well. Let me just refresh this. Oh, it sounds like we lost Jason. Okay. So, okay.
Are we back?
Thank you guys. So Jason, we actually lost you for a few seconds. I think you're still not back yet. You might be coming back. Here we go. Jason, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay. I thought it was me. I was like, I'm relying on hotel Wi-Fi here, so I totally thought it was myself. So I think we lost you for a second. You were telling us a bit about shoot, I got sidetracked.
We're talking about the bourbon somehow. I don't know.
Yes, yeah, we're talking about like how you came up with like the I don't know.
Well, anyhow, I'll start over.
Okay.
It is MGP juice again.
Mm-hmm.
2 high rye mash bills for
Mm-hmm.
bourbon, a 21% rye, 36% rye. It's 4 and 6 year blend. And you asked if it was a single barrel. And
That's what it was. Thank you for the reminder. I just got like I literally thought it was my hotel Wi-Fi. I was like, oh no, they promised me it would be good tonight.
Yeah. And what we did is we decided to take as a company our single barrels off the market because we didn't want to compete with we have a single barrel program for liquor stores and restaurants and bars. Mm-hmm. So especially in liquor stores, I didn't want my single barrel competing with their single barrel. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Sure.
So we pulled all of our single barrels off the mark. Well, we didn't pull them off. We just stopped doing them. And we pick single barrels. Like I'll go through and pick a batch of, how many barrels do we have to sell to on premise and off premise. So we do 20 or 30 barrels, and these are good enough to be picked through, and stores can have them as single barrels. So this is not a single barrel. It's a batch. It's kind of a small batch. And that's why we do it at barrel strength. And it's like I said, there's a lot going on. It's 3 of our finishing barrels, 2 different mix of years, and also 2 different mash bills.
Gotcha. So you said 2 different mix of years. Like, is there like an estimate, like just in general, like age of these? Like, typically, are they like the 3-year, kind of like the rye? Or are they maybe a bit older? I'm just out of curiosity.
No, the bourbon is 4 and 6 year.
Okay.
Yeah, 4 and 6 year, and to be honest with you, we, if our bourbon was supposed to be ready last Derby, and we didn't bring it out till last fall, so it wasn't ready for the market, and I didn't think it was aged well enough, and we just weren't ready to put it out. So we're not going to put anything out that we don't think is ready to go out.
Sure.
And that's the way it is. And we do have investors, and I told them this is basically the way we're going to work, or we're not going to work together. So, I mean, I'm pretty strict on how I like my whiskey, and that's just the way it is. That's the way it will always be.
Awesome. I'm excited to try it. So cheers, Jason. Thank you for sharing this with me. Ooh, That's like a nice don't want to say like graham cracker, or there's like some kind of like baked like cracker kind of note there on the like the mid palate that I've had a lot of Indiana rye. Don't think I've quite got that note before. So do you think that's coming from like your barrels, like the additional like toasting or what you guys are doing with the barrels? Do you think that's influencing the flavor that dramatically?
Yeah, like I said, for sure. I mean, like I said, if you've got whiskey people out there, which you do, that 70% of the flavor comes from the barrel.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where we're kind of reverse engineering it and kind of working backwards. My wife says it always tastes like a Christmas cookie.
Absolutely. I think we're on the same track. Like I said, the first thing that came to mind was like a graham cracker, like that cinnamon cracker, like kind of not like cracker, like like a Ritz cracker, but like cracker like a like shortbread cookie. So like I think we're absolutely onto the same track with that. That's really, really interesting. And it's so fun to try the bourbon after coming off the rye, because the rye, like you said, is a bourbon drinker's rye. However, I'm glad we're back in bourbon territory now, so I'm very excited to be back over here. Wow.
Well,
So
I've lived in the bourbon world for a long time, and that's where I feel at home. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's the typical bourbon notes that we would expect. Because I mean, I'm speaking for myself and a few of the viewers here. We're familiar with Indiana rye. We've tried it before, but this is giving a very unique characteristic of that I feel like I have not had. It's the shortbread, kind of the thing. I almost want to say like kind of like an Irish whiskey. There's a little bit of that like baked kind of like shortbread cookie note that I'm getting on this that I have not gotten on any other Indiana bourbon.
Right. It's not as malty as maybe an Irish whiskey would be, but it is very viscous. So it does kind of fill your mouth and not so much viscous as being oily, but just having this coating,
Man, that's really great. I'm glad to have a chance to try that, because like I said, I listened to my friend Perry's podcast earlier. You guys were still working on the bourbon at the time, so I'm so glad to have a chance to try it from you guys, because I love the rye. Not gonna lie, like that cigar rye was fantastic. Honestly, probably one of the most. Actually, no, I'll be real. The best Indiana rye expression I've ever experienced, because you guys are doing something different with it, and I love that about that. So this is really.
I mean, we really appreciate it. And like I said, we're just kind of. I think we're scratching the surface with what we've got going on, and God forbid, once I get next to a still and we're working on getting our own still and sourcing our own new make, and it's a long process, but I have long views. So one day,
well, I was gonna say, what's next for you guys? Because again, a lot of things we're trying right now are relatively new for you guys. Like you mentioned before, like getting new make from distilleries in Kentucky. Is that what you want to do? Do you want to not necessarily distill, but like do the full maturation yourself? From new make to 5-6 year old whiskey. Like, I'm curious to hear what your goals are.
Well, we do have some contract with some of the two of the bigger distilleries to make our own new make. Mm-hmm. That's coming up in next year or so. But we also have a doubler that we've bought, so we could take some first run it through our doubler, and that will be happening this year as well. But we also have sights on about a 14-inch column still, maybe in the next year or two, that we will be producing our own. And in 2 to 4 years, we're going to have some rye and some bourbon on the market that is actually ours from inception, the get-go. And then we won't be double barreling anymore. We'll be putting it in our innovative barrels, and I think it's going to make a huge change.
Because you guys, I don't know, I'm not sure if we mentioned this earlier, but the secondary finishing barrels you guys are using are new charred oak or new barrels. They're not like used barrels, right?
No, absolutely not. We use brand new barrels, so it's a very expensive process. Mm-hmm. And then we use them one time. And if you think about a 20-year-old Pappy barrel or whatever, we use our barrels for 2 to 6 months. And they have so much flavor. and then we ship them off, and they still have flavor. So I guess once the company gets up and running, and that'll be hopefully another revenue source for us to source our unique barrels to some of these other places who do scotch or beer or wine or tequila or whatever, because our barrels have a flavor profile that we've developed.
Absolutely.
So,
I see people in the chat like recommending. You mentioned earlier like working with other distilleries. I see our friend Swan says new riff, new make with that cigar blend finish. Oh boy, already got some ideas flowing. People are very excited. I think Swan has had some of the cigar rye. Honestly, that's my favorite thing I'm trying, because again, like I said, I'm such a fan of 95.5 rye from Indiana.
Sure.
This is the most interesting take I've ever seen on that, and I'm so excited to see what you guys do next.
Yeah, well, we've got a few things in the works, but we're going to try to do some growth right now. Like I said, we're hopefully going to be in about 15 states by the end of the year, mainly on the East Coast. We are in New Mexico, and we're also in Canada. But
I'll hit up my friends.
We're just crossing our fingers and loving everything about it, and hoping everybody's digging it as well.
Well, I definitely am, and hopefully you guys will make it to Southern California soon, because I'm really excited to try more from you guys. This was great. I want more.
Well, if not, we'll send you some, or you can come here. It's not a big deal.
That's true. I you know what? I would love to come to Kentucky sometime soon. I went like a year and a half ago, but I'm due for a trip back soon.
I mean, you could have done your anniversary here.
Yeah, I mean, true. Maybe next year. Well, Jason, thank you so much for coming on. I'm so excited to see what you guys are doing next. If anyone's listening to this, that you can get Buzzard's Roost. Honestly, all of these are really fantastic, really intricate expressions. Like even if you hear, oh, it's Indiana rye, or it's Indiana bourbon. Try it. Trust me. This is some of the like best expressions of Indiana rye that I've ever had before. So seriously, take my word for it. It's really, really good stuff. But Jason, thank you so much for coming on. I'm so glad to have you on. And where can people find you on the web? I know Buzzard's Roost has an Instagram, but do you have your own Instagram?
Yes, I am the Bluegrass Bourbon Baron.
Yes, that popped up when I was typing your name. I was like, is that him? Okay, it is you. Okay, good.
Yeah, the Bluegrass Bourbon.
If you guys want to go to my Instagram, I tagged him on my story earlier today. So go give him a follow. Support the brand. They're really doing some incredible stuff, and I really can't wait to see what you guys do next, because this is fantastic. You guys are checking all the boxes for me. So
yeah, well, thank you so much, and cheers, everyone.
Cheers to you, and thank you everyone for tuning in. I'll see you guys next week. We have another special guest coming on, but Jason, thank you so much. Have a great night.
Thank you. You too.
All right, bye. For to your to our I see will be give a shout not Rums and Drams, who many of you know. He just became a patron of the show last week, so I'll tell him so but also Whiskey Mountains, go check out her channel. Also have Nick. Good to see you, Nick. We have I think that's it, actually. Not enough people pre-gaming tonight. You guys have been pre-gaming other people's streams. I get you. Wesley Zeller, good to see you. Wesley, I actually just sent off his new, which I guess that was a good segue. It wasn't meant to be a good segue, but we now have Bourbon Bytes challenge. Oh man, you know what? Hold on. I got this. I practiced this. Okay, wait. It's the green screen. We now have Bourbon Bytes challenge coins. So let's see if it'll focus on that right there. Oh, come on, man. It was doing so good earlier. Okay. Well, anyways, you can see these more on Patreon. So the front is my logo, and the back says no mash value. It's a lot more clear than this. I promise. It's not blurry on the coin. So these are currently for patrons only. So
if you become a patron at any level, you can get your very own Bourbon Bytes challenge coin. You can purchase them if you're a patron at any level. Certain tiers get these at the after their second or third month or whatever. Go check out patreon.com/Bourbon Bytes. You'll see all the info there about what you get, when you get it, if you sign up for the other tiers, or if you want to buy one. Like I said, right now it's exclusive to patrons. I do only have 100 of these in this first batch. So if you want to get your hands on a first edition, first batch Bourbon Bytes challenge coin, which are, by the way, obviously styled after arcade tokens. That was kind of the plan with them, which, I thought was pretty fitting. I'm really, really proud of how they came out. Huge fan of these. So yeah, definitely get your orders in now. Because like I said, there's only 100 in this first batch. Let me get my beauty light on real quick. There we go. All right. So also quick with Patreon, I did just update the tiers for my higher end tiers, Bourbon Terabytes, and of course my Bourbon Daddy, which you all know is my high end $100 a month tier. Those tiers have both been updated with some really awesome perks. The Bourbon Terabytes, before I didn't really feel like a place for it. Like there was no one subscribed to it, but I found a way that I think would bring a lot of value to people who are curious about it. So Bourbon Terabytes now get access to my Bourbon Bytes subscription box, where we do a guided tasting of the subscription box once a month. So if you are interested in a Bourbon Bytes subscription box, definitely check out that tier. Of course, you get challenge coins as well. So just want to let you guys know that was an option. I thought it'd be pretty fun. It is limited to only 10 people because the subscription box has to be distributed through me. So anyways, with that out of the way, I do want to introduce our very, very special guest for the evening. Please welcome Adam Edwards from Rabbit Hole Distillery.
Hey, Clifton, how you doing?
Good. How are you? Thank you so much for joining tonight.
For allowing me on your channel tonight. I'm going to show everybody around the distillery. I'm super excited to do it. I love doing this stuff.
Well, thank you for staying. I know it's late. It's like 10 p.m. there for you. You were doing something else at the distillery the other tonight. I promise. I didn't make you drive out here just for me, right?
No, I would have done it anyways. But I've always got a packed schedule, but I don't mind it. I mean, I have like the greatest job in the world. I'm such a bourbon fan, that I love walking around this place and showing this place off every single day. Sorry, Mario. We got distilleries running around. We're busy. We're working anyways. Even in the middle of the night, we're making bourbon here. So not a problem at all. I am happy to be here.
Very cool. So that's what we're going to start out with tonight. We're going to do a tour around the distillery. Then he's going to take us to the tasting room where we're going to taste through 2 of their bourbon expressions. So you guys are based in Louisville, right?
We are in Louisville, Kentucky. We're in a neighborhood of Louisville called New, which is in downtown Louisville. There's several other distilleries in the area, something like 8 other distilleries in the immediate area. So this is where it happens. This is bourbon capital.
That's awesome. I've only been once, and I didn't quite make it to Rabbit Hole. I was only there for I was only in the Louisville area for 3 days, so I had my very tight schedule. But next time, I saw Rabbit Hole was just a few blocks from my hotel. I'm like, dang it, why didn't I know this?
You can stop on by. We'll have a drink together. It would be awesome.
Well, I guess go ahead and give us a preview. Show us around the distillery. Feel free to take your time with that. I know some of these people may have never been on distillery tours, so you guys in the chat, feel free to chime in with questions. I will put them up on the screen and we'll ask as we go along. No question, trust me, just treat this like a distillery tour. No question is too dumb. I think we're going to see a lot of technical stuff. A lot of you are familiar with that, but some of you may be new to it. Feel free to ask any questions. I'm sure Adam will be happy to answer. Adam, I'll let you take it away.
Awesome. So my name is Adam Edwards. I'm the digital brand ambassador for Rabbit Hole Distillery. Basically like a national brand ambassador, yet digital, doing this for a living. And it's an amazing way to bring people into our distillery. You can see I'm standing next to this amazing bourbon is a verb. I love this phrase. I love this bourbon is a verb. The reason that we have bourbon is a verb right here is because the room I'm about to show you is where we bourbon. You bourbon, I bourbon, we all bourbon together. So now I'm going to pick you up and take you away. I was just talking to Clifton about this. Of new selfie sticks. So I got a brand spanking new selfie stick.
All
And
good.
here we go.
Our friend Topher says this is his first distillery tour, so he's very excited.
Welcome to the
Oh
distillery.
wow,
Topher.
nice! Bring an old school style selfie stick.
Oh yeah, here we go. So this is the atrium. This is where we do all of the distillation and the fermentation. And of course, you can see the main draw, the centerpiece of this space is this incredible column still. This is a
Wow.
48-foot tall column still. You can see it goes all the way up the top. We'll be up there in just a few minutes. And you can even peer over the side here, all the way down to the original foundations of the building. It's a
Wow.
really beautiful piece. It's custom built. The company that does these is called Vendome. They're only about 4 blocks from here. And they make something like 95, I think it's 95% of the country's copper stills.
It's
They
a
get
bunch,
from
yeah.
Vendome, and every piece is completely custom built. So we'll take a little walk around here. Now
We do have our
are
first question here real quick.
perfect.
So Brandon asks, when did you guys open this location in downtown?
So we opened this location on Derby Day of 2000. Been around since 2012. We started contract distilling. So contract distilling is kind of where you don't have your own kitchen yet. You're just using somebody else's kitchen, but you bring all your own food. You bring all your own ingredients. So we found a distillery in northern Kentucky where we could take all of our grains and all of our yeast, and we made it out of that distillery for a few years. We were on the shelf in 2016, but in 2018, we opened this distillery to the public. And of course, now it's coming on almost a year that we have been closed to the public because of the pandemic. So I think we closed on March 16th of last year. I think I've got that
Is
right.
it just closed to the
We're
public or closed like production-wise? Probably not, right?
Oh, no, production-wise, 365, 24/7.
Gotcha.
We have not stopped. The only times that we stop are like Christmas Day, New Year's Eve, New Year's Day. But even then, it still kind of keeps going. What we do is we just lower the temperature of these fermenters so they can sit just a couple days longer, and that way all the distillers get a little time off too.
Sure.
So, but we're all the time. We're 24/7. We actually produce about 60 to 70 barrels of distillate a day.
Wow, nice.
I do love showing this off. I think this is cool. So this pipe right here behind me, I'm like a weatherman. We're pulling all of the milled grain. Now this is a brand new cook. This just started. So it's the corn first. And I can tell by the color, all this corn has been milled down into a pretty fine powder. And it's going to go over top of my head, keep going, and then this is where the selfie stick comes in really handy.
Yeah, work your angles.
Pretty nice, right? I'm like a pro with the selfie stick. So it's going to drop down this tube here and enter this big mash cooker. So this is basically like a big pressure cooker. We're going to drop all the grain in here, add the water, and cook it all for about 4 to 6 hours. So you're going to have the corn first, and then you're going to cook that at a certain temperature, then lower that temperature a little bit and start adding your other grains like rye or malted barley, anything else you're using in the mash bill. Everything's going to cook in there for a few hours. That way it's going to, especially with the malted grains, that heat and the water are going to start releasing things called amylases and diastases and actually release more sugars as well. Those amylases and diastases, they're going to break down those complex starches into simple sugars because that is important for the next step, which is happening in these beautiful guys right here. So this is a 1-to-1 ratio.
I love the mashing. This is my favorite part of distillery tours, just like smelling it.
So good. I mean, today it is definitely like banana bread in here, like hardcore banana bread. So this is a 1-to-1 ratio. So this mash cooker over here is 8,000 gallons. We have fermenters that are also 8,000 gallons. We'll put that mash in here, pitch the yeast, so add the yeast in there, and then it's just 72 hours of the yeast working harder than anyone else in this building. I tell you, the yeast is like the hardest worker. It is just going to start eating all those sugars, and it's going to start producing things like heat and carbon dioxide and everybody's favorite, alcohol. This one's really going right now.
Oh, wow.
24 hours at this point. These over here, like this one is only about, put this one, 8 hours, maybe.
And how long do you
maybe
say
less.
you typically keep them in the cooker?
72 hours, about a 3-day fermentation. And so you can see this foam is pretty relaxed, not a whole lot going on. I like when I touch it, and then it's just like a chain reaction. It just sort of takes off, and everything starts boiling. It's like, leave me alone, man. Leave me alone. So the yeast
Brandon asked about mash bills. Brandon, we're going to talk mash bills once we get to the actual whiskey to taste them, because these are 2 different mash bills.
So these today, all this is high gold. So this is the high rye bourbon, and rye tends to foam up quite a bit. That's why we were kind of looking at that one I just touched. Had a really high foam to it. Rye tends to do that as it ferments. It's got a little more starch in it, and so it really, really creeps up. Those bubbles get a little bit thicker, and it'll foam up quite a bit.
So I've heard that rye is harder. Is it harder? I know it's more expensive to distill. Is it because it's harder? Is there something different about rye when you're distilling it?
Yeah. So fermentation is really the issue with rye. It becomes so foamy that a lot of people just didn't do it for a long time. So I'm sure a lot of people have heard of like MGP or LBI. That's one of the largest distilleries in the country. They really cornered the market on rye because they had the material to do it. They had all the space to do it. And a lot of people just source their rye from MGP, and it's delicious. It's great. But really the key to rye is keeping a pretty low head space. You've got a lot of space up here. We're not filling them to the top. And then you'll probably see like a hose in the background as I'm walking around. They'll just use that hose to kind of spray down the sides, and that keeps it from foaming over the top. Now, these are just high rye bourbon mash bills, so they're really not too bad. But our rye, which is the 95.5 rye, so 95% rye, the 5% malted barley, that one we really got to keep an eye on as we're fermenting, or it'll spill over the sides, and no one has time to clean that up here, I guarantee it.
Yeah, well, while we're talking about the fermentation stage, Adriana asks, is 72 hours standard, or is it just for particular yeast strains?
You know, everybody does it a little bit different, but generally you will see anywhere between the 3 to 5 day fermentation. Some people like to do it longer at like a little bit of a lower temperature. Some people like to do it quicker at a higher temperature. Our temperature isn't really too high. We'll get it up to about 89 degrees, right under where it'll kill the yeast off. And then we let that slowly work its way down a little closer to like 72, 74 degrees. So we kind of have the best of both worlds on that. A quick fermentation, or a slow fermentation, is about flavor development, but really you got to remember, the barrels are going to give you like 70% of the flavor of a bourbon, right? So you really, fermentation, I think, is a little bit more about process. How much time do you have? How much, for us, we do 3 shifts a day, right? We've got people that work in the morning, in the middle to late part of the day, and then overnight. And so since we're able to continuously distill and ferment, we can do 3 turnarounds on these. I mean, basically that works out to every 8 hours, we're emptying one of these mash tanks. So that gets us like 60 to 70 barrels a day. That actually gets us a little over 20,000 barrels a year. And we do, we're only 55,000 square feet. So if you do that math, we actually make more bourbon per square foot than any distillery in the country.
I was going to say, I always think of you guys as like a smaller one, but I mean, dang, that's a lot of bourbon.
It's a lot. It's a lot. In fact, we are in the process of expanding. We're putting 3 new fermenters in pretty soon. So we're going to try and increase our output about 25-30%.
That's awesome.
Because we need it. We're popular. There's a good
yeah. Well, I see you guys all the time out here in Southern California.
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice.
So, oh man, California loves it. I say that. I do a lot for California. So I love this shot right here, like right next to the stove. You can really see where that steam is interacting with that mash. This is actually, you can see this intake pipe right here. This is actually where we put the steam in. This is where that steam hits that beer. So that steam is just lifting up through the beer, because you can call this distiller's beer. It's like beer without hops. It gets up to about 8 to 10% alcohol after 72 hours. And then that steam is just going to start lifting that alcohol out as a vapor. And then we'll separate that from the spent grains in the water as much as possible to get you that first run of distill. It comes off this still usually around 125 to 128 proof.
So when it leaves, Adriana's asking, when it leaves these tanks, where does it go into that still right there?
It does. It has a couple stops. So you can actually see we're in the process of, we're in the process of emptying this one. So you can see it's really moving around. There's a big agitator in the bottom of it. And the reason we do that, let me show you this one here. This one's in a little darker area, but I think you can see it. It's got, that first one I showed you with the thick foam. Well, all that's gone now. And now it's kind of got this thin film on top. And that film, it's basically a solid. So it's like the spent yeast and all that. We want to make sure that we're, get it. Man, that tastes so good. I always can't help myself. I have to taste it. It's like beer. It's got like this nice sour kind of sweet flavor to it.
Another favorite part of going to distilleries is tasting it.
Tasting the mash is amazing.
I don't know how it's going to happen like when things reopen though, with things now. I mean, do you guys?
I mean, that's a really good question too, because we're not really sure either. From a scientific level, we know it's fine, right?
Yeah, because it's not going to that's not what's going in people's like bottles.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But still, some people just are uncomfortable with it. I'm never going to force anybody to touch the mash. I can tell you that, you know. So yeah, that one that's moving, we're just basically breaking up the solids, and we're going to sit it underneath my feet, and then it's going to go in this big tank here. So this is the beer well. So this is like the 10th tank that's in here. This one is a lot bigger than these fermenters. All those are about 14 feet deep, 8,000 gallons. This one is about 20 or so feet deep, and it holds about 12,000 gallons. So the whole point of this one is to continuously churn it while we're putting it into the still. And to show you how thin it has to get, it's all going through this pipe right here. This is a really skinny pipe right here. So all of this beer is going through, everything you drink from Rabbit Hole, it's going to go through this little pipe right here. This basically tells us if we have it the right consistency. If it's too thick to go through this pipe, it's going to be too thick for the still, and it's going to plug it up. We'll actually overflow it. So you want to make sure it's nice and thin so that it has the best chance of kind of interacting with that steam and getting all of the alcohol pulled out of it.
Sure. So do you guys use like a sweet mash method or like a sour mash?
Sour mash. So
Sour
we
mash.
do a sour mash. Now it's always funny when you talk about sour mash because everybody. So let's say you're doing, the same bourbon all the time, right? I mean, we're working on, anywhere from 5 to 7 different mash bills, at any one time. So if we're doing just one mash bill forever, we can sit there and do sour mash, sour mash, sour mash. But let's say, we're doing it's all high gold in here today. Let's say tomorrow we're going to start filling with rye whiskey. So you don't want to use, the leftovers. When if people aren't familiar with sour mash, it's where you're taking some of the stuff that's falling to the bottom of the still and you're putting it into the next cook. It's kind of like a sourdough starter. It kind of kickstarts fermentation, kind of keeps consistency and gives something for the yeast to kind of latch onto. Now, let's say we switch to rye tomorrow. We're not going to have any rye setback. We call that setback to start that sour mash. So what you do is you do a couple runs of sweet mash. It's all going to kind of get blended together anyways, right? So you're going to do a couple runs of sweet mash, and then all of a sudden you've got some setback, and within 8 to 16 hours you can start doing sour mash continuously again. So you're really only getting like 2 of these mash tanks that would be a sweet mash. Even then, it's not really going to be a sweet mash because it's all going to get mixed together in that beer well a little bit by little bit right when it gets dropped into that still.
Yeah, so JJ, he kind of spoke about that, but just I guess one liner, what's the difference between sweet mash and sour mash? That was awesome technical explanation, but just
Yeah, so sweet mash is where you're not taking that what's left from this distillation drop to the bottom of the still. You're not taking that and adding it to the next cook. So for example, our friends over at Peerless, which is like 8 blocks from here, something like that. They do sweet mash all the time. They like it for flavor development. It works really well with their mash bills and their idea of what makes a really good bourbon, right? That does mess with your pH a little bit, so you kind of have to get a little bit more creative using things like citric acid to kind of balance your pH a little bit. Sour mash, when you're taking some of that cook, that previous cook, and put it into the next cook, you're able to stabilize your pH. I think it gives a little bit of a better flavor. People hear sour mash, they think sour flavors. Not really. It's just getting a little bit more consistency in flavor between the cooks, and that way you don't have to worry about wild variances between barrels. You're always going to have variance between barrels, but if you're doing a sour mash, it kind of alleviates that just a little bit.
Sure. Yeah. And on the other end of the technical spectrum, Brandon's asking, how many types of yeast strains do you guys use?
Uno.
Just one.
One type of yeast strain. Yeah.
Okay.
Use one type of yeast strain. Yeah. We use a pretty neutral yeast, nothing too crazy. The reason for that is we really like to focus on our grains. And, we're going to do a tasting here a little bit, so we'll talk more about that as we get up there. But we like to focus on our grains and then the barrels, adding a lot of flavor because we use really special barrels too. Also, I always feel when I stand right here, I'm about to tell like a campfire scary story because all the light is like underneath. He was in the back of the car the whole time. So this is the mid layer of our still right here. So you can see this beautiful piece of equipment is our low wine spirit safe. It's clear liquid that's coming out of here. This is the first run. So we dropped that beer at the top, pump the steam in the bottom. That steam has lifted the alcohol out of that distiller's beer. We've sent it right here to this big column, which chills it down and recondenses it into this first run. Now, this first run, you can call it low wine, low shine, the stripping run. There's all sorts of names for it. That one is about 125 to 128 proof. It's great, but it's not perfect. So we're going to redistill it. We're going to take it downstairs it's going to actually flow through these, let's see, there we go. These pipes right here down to what you call a doubler. And I think if I do this just right, let me get my body out of the way. There you go.
Someone was speaking earlier about their fear of,
right
they didn't
there.
know they had a fear of heights until this video.
Yeah, you're welcome. I used to, I don't anymore, I can tell you that. So this piece of equipment right here on the bottom floor, that's the doubler. It's basically a smaller still. You're taking that low wine, putting it down there, redistilling it into high wine or high shine or distill it. That one's going to come off at about 138 proof. And so from there, we'll take it next door to our aging tanks. We're going to drop the proof on it quite a bit. So to be bourbon, there's all sorts of those bourbon laws, right? It's got to be at least 51% corn, made in the United States, aged in virgin oak charred vessels, I think is the actual law, the actual language of the law. And then can't be distilled above 160 proof, can't be put in the barrel higher than 125 proof, and can't be put in the bottle lower than 80. We don't put it in the barrel at 125 proof. If we did that, we would get more bourbon. But the problem is, our bottle proof is like 95. So let's say you put it in the barrel at 125 proof. After a couple years, it's going to be 150 proof or something like that. You're going to have to add a lot of water, and you're going to really dilute all those flavors that you married together while aging it in the barrel. We don't want to do that. So we add water now after it's done distilling. We add a bunch of water now to bring it all the way down to 110 proof, fill those barrels. So after a few years, it's only up to like 115, 116 at most. We don't have to add that much water to get it down to 95 proof. So you're sacrificing quantity for quality. Really
gotcha. I've seen a couple questions come in about do you guys have any plans for when you're going to open back up to the public, or is this kind of like up in the air right now?
Still working on that. I know a couple of my friends, Allie and Tom, the tour lead and the retail lead here, they're really working very hard with Cave to determine the best day to do that. We just want to make sure that everybody is safe, but we're also able to give what we call the best in class experience. If anybody out there has taken a tour here at Rabbit Hole, this one, not this, I know this is a great tour, but when you come here in person, we really offer this incredible experience here. And we want to make sure that we're still able to offer a really incredible experience, but to do so safely. And that just takes time. And we just, we have to we've got to protect this, right? All of this down here, we have to protect this. That is the most important part. We've got to protect the liquid. So we've been very cautious, very cautious for it.
And the other question,
things are looking better.
That kind of answers that question. So it's like, do you get to taste the right off the still, like at some distilleries? Probably not anytime soon if they're going to do that, passing the jar around. I've seen that happen at a few different distilleries.
Yeah, we used to do that. We wouldn't really let you taste from it so much as we would fill up a Glencairn from that condenser, the high wine condenser. You just kind of pass around and smell it. Or you could like dip a finger in it and then taste it off your finger.
Yeah, I think Peerless, Peerless, they give you use like the cap of your water bottle and they like pour like a drop in your cap.
Exactly. I think, that sort of thing, that's, a lot of things are going to change in our culture after this, obviously, right? So I have a feeling that that's probably not going to happen too much. Although at 138 proof, like COVID does not stand a chance.
What's it going to do?
It doesn't stand a chance. I do like to show off this. I love this. All right. I hope nobody gets dizzy. You're going to love this. On this platform, on this like second floor landing in the atrium, and when you come to the distillery, make sure I'm standing in the right place. Yeah, when you come to the distillery and you stand right where I'm standing, if you kind of do this slow circle, you can actually see every single aspect of distillation and fermentation from right here. So you can see the cooker there and the grains coming to that. You can see the doubler all the way down there. You can see the still. You can see the fermentation tanks all around you. You can even see the beer warmer that we'll get up to that in a few minutes. This little cylinder all the way up there. We warm that beer up. You can see every single aspect of distillation and fermentation right here. Pretty much like 90% of the entire process.
Yeah, I was going to say
really
it seems like small in terms of like everything's there, but it's huge. I'm just looking around at these towering beams and towering stills. It's beautiful. I mean, I would love to see it in person.
We really love to make sure that people kind of get that experience, to be able to see everything like right up against like these monsters of machinery. But at the same time, we want people to feel comfortable. This is our home. In fact, when you take a tour at Rabbit Hole, the first thing we do when you walk in the door, when you signed up for a tour and you've shown up for it, we give you a drink. We all have a drink together because that's what you do in the South. Here in Kentucky,
Mm-hmm.
you know, if you walk in my house, the first thing I'm going to ask you is, "Hey, welcome. What can I get you to drink?" Right?
I'm in Southern California, but same thing here.
Same thing, right? I mean, it's the same thing. It's just hospitality. It's just being a great host. And so we want people to have that experience here. So we want to bring people into our home and show them as much as possible, but we want everybody to be comfortable while we're doing it. So, you know, take a look at the ceiling here. You may notice we have no fans in this space, but this space is always in between about 70 and 80 degrees. The reason we're able to achieve that is the shape of this ceiling. This is called a butterfly ceiling. Any hot air that we create in here, when it rises up, it splits and it forces that air back down and it pulls the energy off of it. So that air all of a sudden becomes a little denser and cooler. It creates a circulation in here. In fact, let me see if I can do this right. Air. This is the only inward facing vent in the entire space. All this does is it's pulling cold air through this duct that circles the windows. So these are just big, big windows that show out into the neighborhood. For steam cleaning a tank in here, there's never any fog on those windows. So this neighborhood, Nulu, can always see in and we can always see out. It's very, very important for us to have that level of transparency here. Yeah,
it's beautiful.
It's cool. Hot. I love this.
Pure fight ski again.
And then, of course, like one of the coolest shots right here in front of the top of the still. So right here is where we're actually putting the beer in. You can see that porthole right there has some of that beer stacked up against it. Everything else above it is called the rectifying part of the still. So if you look closely, you can kind of see. Let me see if I can get you a little closer. Look at that. You can actually see some of that water. I know, right? You can actually see it's like rain on the windshield. It's the water separating from the alcohol and just dropping to the bottom of the still all the way down there. You see it goes all the way down. And that is, you call that stillage. That's actually, we're going to have that picked up. So truckers are going to come pick that up and take it to farms to use as animal feed. And then this right up here, we were talking about where it goes after we empty out one of those tanks. So it goes to that big beer well, and then that skinny pipe I showed you comes all the way up here, and it goes to, there we go, this piece of equipment, this big cylinder. This is called a beer warmer. Well, the actual technical name of it is a heat exchanger, but we all call it a beer warmer because it warms the beer. I don't know. We're really on the nose on how we name things in this industry. And so you warm that beer up, and then you drop it into the still so it doesn't burn it.
Gotcha. Yeah, we just have seen a lot of questions about the actual whiskey. Trust me, we're going to get to the whiskey and talk about the different expressions they have here soon. But this is really, I mean, it's the first time I've ever had a distillery tour on a stream, so that's really awesome.
It's pretty neat. It's
so
pretty neat.
Where do you do your barrel aging? Do you guys do it on site? Or obviously not, or unless you guys have a barrel house, probably not there.
So it is the only thing that we don't do on site is age here. I'm going to flip my camera up and set it back up into, we're going to go from selfie stick mode into tripod mode. Amazing.
It's all one device. I didn't give me a selfie stick tripod.
It's incredible. It's incredible. I definitely did not expense this out the rabbit hole either. Absolutely, I did. All right, here we go. So this is, by the way, this is called Overlook. This is our rooftop bar. We call it Overlook because obviously it overlooks the distillery, but these windows offer an amazing view of the city of Louisville. At night, it's kind of hard to see because you just get the reflection, but it's the best view of downtown Louisville in here. So no, we don't age on property. It's one of the few things that we don't do here. We actually age in Henry County, Kentucky, which is about 40 minutes that way. And we have 3 warehouses. So we just finished building the third one, and they're kind of the same. They're like, let's see, this color, this kind of dark gray right here.
Okay.
That way, even in the winter, they're retaining heat, and it doesn't arrest that aging at all.
Gotcha.
And so I know the first one held like about 16,000 barrels. The second one holds just under 20,000. The third one is holding just under 25,000. So,
awesome.
You know, we're able to fill those up pretty quickly.
Are those like on site, like your like actual workhouse, or are there other like distilleries that also age there?
There are.
They're yours? Okay.
They are ours. Yeah. You know, we were aging before we had those built. Castle and Key was amazing. Right. They actually held our barrels in their warehouses, which was awesome.
Castle
there's
does that for a
different types
lot of people, I've
warehouses.
noticed.
Yeah, Castle. I mean, they have great space.
Yeah,
they even
I
bottled
love their
for us.
distillery. It's one of my favorite that I was able to tour.
Super cool space there, and they even bottled for us before we had our bottling line installed.
Oh, nice.
So we installed our bottling line. It didn't take long. I mean, it was only a couple months after we opened. But yeah, I mean, they were really great. I mean, that's how the industry is. I think everyone assumes that the bourbon industry is, really, really, we really kind of compete against each other. We're competitive. I mean, we compete on the market, on the shelves. But in the actual industry, we're all friends. I mean, I can see a couple other distilleries from here, and I mean, we're that close, right? So we all get along, and it's just what is good for one distillery is good for us. What's good for us is good for another distillery.
Absolutely. Well, Brandon asked, do you guys do tours of the barrel house or not typically?
Not yet. There was a plan. I mean, the pandemic kind of ruined a lot of people's plans. Obviously, we did have a plan to open a visitor center out there. And we won an award for the design. We won an architectural award just for the design of the visitor center that we haven't even built yet. That's how amazing the design is of it. I mean, this building alone, this is called the architectural icon of the Kentucky Bourbon Trail because it's an award-winning design. Same thing with that guest house.
Man, I'm just seeing it now. Like, why didn't I go there? I was right down the street from it too.
It's plenty of time to come back. So, but
Absolutely.
I have a feeling that in the future we will open up some sort of on-site hospitality unit there, whether or not it's just for like barrel selection or bringing tours in, stuff like that. I'm not quite sure yet, but surely we're going to do something amazing with it.
Yeah, that actually goes back to another question. Donnie asked, do you guys do any kind of single barrel select program, or are you guys planning on doing that at some point?
We are launching that this year. It is going to be incredibly limited for the first couple years, less than 10 barrels, I think, this year. And it's all going to be in Kentucky only at first, just because it's so limited. But as we expand that program over the next couple of years, you're going to start to see those being selected by other groups and other retail stores, around the country in the next few years. And I know like the first ones that we're doing are going to be high gold single barrels and all cask strength. And oh man, the label design is incredible. We picked everyone's always crazy about the labels, right? When you pick a single barrel, you want to put your label on it. We got this incredible artist from South Korea to create these labels. I can't talk a whole lot about it right now because we're getting ready to do the first selection pretty soon. The first one is going to be selected by a very prominent whiskey reviewer, actually. So just be on the lookout for that. But they're all going to be charity bottles. We're going to be donating the proceeds of these bottles to, I'm not quite sure exactly which organization it's going to go to, but it's going to benefit restaurant and hospitality workers here in Louisville. So the
awesome.
labels are amazing. It's kind of a play on Alice in Wonderland is about as far as I can go with it.
Sure.
But it's incredible. The artistry is incredible.
You guys stay tuned for that because that sounds really awesome. And we love supporting other creators here. And of course, when it goes to giving back to the community and giving back to those in the service industry, I think that's such a great cause. So while we're talking about bourbon, let's go to get something in our glass. I mean, we've been talking about it. I've been seeing a lot of it, but I haven't been drinking it. So which one are we starting with here tonight?
We're going to start with Cave Hill.
Okay.
And I hope everybody that is joining us tonight, hopefully you got some rabbit hole with you. If you're not, pour whatever. That's fine. It's all bourbon is wonderful, right? And before we get like super nerdy into this, Clifton and everybody on the stream, I want to do something that's really special to me. I love doing this with people for the first time that I'm able to drink with them. I think you can learn a lot about somebody by asking, I don't know, what they do for a living, what their favorite color is, what their hobbies are, what's your favorite dinosaur. I mean, there's so many things you get to know a person, but you don't really know a person until you've had that first drink with them, right? So, Clifton, cheers, my friend. Thank you so much for having me on tonight. Everybody in the chat, cheers, salute.
Cheers,
All right. So now let's get nerdy. Let's get nerdy, right? So Cave Hill. Cave Hill is the first bourbon that we produced. This was Cave's very first mash bill that he produced. The name really alludes to all the distillers that came before us, the shoulders of the giants that we're standing on to like further elevate this already incredible spirit. This one is really born from the idea of be transparent and don't be white noise. Don't do the same thing that everyone else is doing, right?
Right.
Cave moved to Louisville in the early 2000s. He was living in Chicago, and he met a girl from Louisville, turned him into a bourbon drinker, and then, like wildly overshot the mark. And they moved here to Louisville, and he really fell in love with Louisville, but also the bourbon industry and bourbon in particular, right? So one thing that really frustrated him was that it seemed everybody kind of did the same thing. It was either wheat was the secondary flavoring grain, like wheaters and wheated bourbons, or rye was the secondary flavoring grain. Now that's changed quite a bit in the last several years as more distilleries have opened, but he really wanted to kind of bring it back to some pre-prohibition mash bills, things that people did before prohibition when there's like thousands of distilleries in Kentucky, where as today there's 60, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he, being a Scotch drinker, understood malt. He understood what malt did, not from a scientific level, but from a flavor level. And he realized that before Prohibition, lots of distilleries use a lot more malt than they do now. So he decided to create a bourbon that is a 4-grain, but is not the same kind of 4-grain that everyone else does, where it's just wheat and rye, right? Let's get real creative. Let's take the 2 grains and just put them together. He did 70% corn, and then 30% malt. And those 30% malt is broken up with malted wheat, malted barley, and honey malted barley. And I will tell you right away that even though this has malted wheat in it, that is not the flavoring grain. This is not a wheated bourbon. This one, the malted barley and the honey malted barley are truly the flavoring grains. In that honey malt, you get right on the nose, just like honeycomb, oak and vanilla, of course. Maybe some. Every bottle is a little different. I will tell you, we do really small batches, like 15 barrel batches or less every time we bottle. The bottle of Cave Hill I'm drinking on tonight kind of did something. I was already here doing something here. Mine is like super minty tonight. It's like wintergreen mint on mine tonight.
I could see a little bit of that. I think I was getting almost like a sweet, like grape, like a wine. I don't know, like a muscadine grape. So I'm kind of getting a little bit of that kind of like fruitiness on it.
Yeah, I'm gonna say this, and you're probably gonna be like, "Oh my god, that's absolutely right." Double bubble, like the pink chewing gum.
Kind of like, you know what? That's I think what I was getting mintiness. I think I get more of that than the mintiness. Yeah.
Some of that, your bottle's like a little different than mine, which is like super fun about those small batches.
Yeah, and it's more
bubble.
Like the powdered like sugar kind of note. That this powdered sugar that's outside of the bubble. Like that's what I'm getting a lot of.
The first time somebody said that to me that worked here was like when I first came on board with Rabbit Hole several years ago. They kind of said that to me, and it was one of those moments that someone says it, and you're like, "Oh, son of a gun!" Like, absolutely, that's 1,000% right.
Yeah, it's really great on the nose.
So
on the palate, though, oh, sorry.
Oh, go ahead. No, please. I want to hear it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a sweet. I think more of the honey aspect I'm getting on the palate more than the nose. I was trying to look for it on the nose. I couldn't find it, but I think when I taste it, it's like kind of on the finish. It goes to that like honeycomb, almost like the honeycomb part of the honeycomb, not just like the honey, but the
material, the sweet waxy kind of part.
Yeah, that's kind of like what I'm getting a bit on the finish. I mean, but it's again, is this age? Do you guys have an age on this one?
So everything has an age statement on the back of the bottle. We put the minimum age on here. It's always going to be at least 3 years old. The reason for that is because of those small batching. Sometimes we'll pull a barrel that's 4.5 years old. It tastes really old. It tastes like a 10-year-old bourbon. And that really, maybe it's a little too oaky, got too oaky too quickly. So we use a younger barrel to kind of blend that out. It's a little more consistent of a flavor profile. But yeah, I mean, you're right on with that kind of waxy honey sort of finish, because for me, Cave Hill, even though it's got wheat in it, and no rye, it starts very spicy for me and gets kind of herby, and then like even like green apple and pear in the mid palate. But that finish is like creme brulee or vanilla custard and honeycomb. And if you think about that waxy part of the honeycomb, we don't chill filter any of our bourbons. So now you're kind of bordering on that. Is it mouthfeel? Is it flavor? Is it both? You can say something is vanilla, but if you say vanilla, cream or creme brulee or, honeycomb, like waxy honeycomb, you're really talking more flavor and texture at the same time.
Sure. And I know a lot of people, like you said, they see the 4-year minimum and they think, oh, this is just 4-year stuff. But I can tell you, this has got a lot more complexity. I've had some, 4-year, usually those are single barrels, which is a little bit different. You guys mix in some older stock too, but it doesn't have any of that, like, it's sweet, but it's not that corn, like, just you're only tasting the corn. There's definitely a lot of the oak influence there too. So I definitely think this drink's a lot older than the 4-year statement on the bottle.
Yeah, I agree with you. And I think that, back in the day, when the bourbon bubble sort of happened, everybody was looking for, everybody thinks they want the oakiest, oldest bourbon out there.
Sure.
Until they actually have the oakiest, oldest bourbon
Oh
out
yeah,
there.
I know
Wait a
over oak
minute,
bourbon,
all right.
for sure.
You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
so age isn't that important to everybody right now. It's definitely a factor. You want to keep going and just see what happens in the barrel. But just because a barrel is older than another barrel doesn't mean it's any better. The barrel tells you when it's done. When it's done, it's done. You don't tell the barrel. So if it's great at 3.5 years old, it's great. If it's great at 8.5 years old, it's great. We let the barrel tell us. Oh man, K-Phil just has such a great nose on it.
So this is your, like, I guess, baseline, the more affordable of the two, right? This one's about what?
No, these are both the same price.
Oh, okay.
These-
out here,
these should be
I
about
checked
the
my
same
total
price.
line here. This one is 48, and then the high gold is 65. But I wasn't sure. Different regions, of course, vary. You guys all know that
That's
in the chat.
a
So.
really great deal on K-Phil. That's a really great deal on K-Phil. You should buy all the
Really?
K-Phil at 48. Yeah, because this one generally, both of these are supposed to be like 55 to 59. So if you see
Okay.
K-Phil for like $48, like clear the shelf.
Well, that's good to know. That's good to know.
That's a really
For
good
some
deal.
reason, you know what's funny? For some reason out here in Southern California, bourbon is relatively affordable. The ones that typically get a price hike in other regions, no, we can find it. I mean, now finding it's kind of a hard thing, but when you do find it, we're not even like a regulated state. So like pricing is all over the place, but typically Southern California is a good place to be for bourbon. Now, everything else is ridiculously expensive. My rent's ridiculously expensive, but bourbon's good.
Well, it's an even out for you. You spend a lot of money in housing, not a lot of bourbon. It evens out for you. That's
Sure.
a huge
And Underground
market.
is asking.
Southern California is a huge market, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Another question coming in. What is the honey malted barley? Like, why is it called honey malted barley?
Oh, I love talking about this. So I've been in the industry for about 15 years, and I've always considered myself, I never want to say bourbon expert, because I feel like no one's an expert in bourbon except for like 3 or 4 people out there, right? But I've always felt myself pretty well versed in the spirit.
Mm-hmm.
Being from Kentucky, being around for so long, I understand it quite a bit. And when I first heard honey malted barley and considering the amount of honey that is on this, I'm like, oh, they must take the barley and like soak it in honey water or something.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that at all. It's really
Right.
interesting. So malting first is where you take a grain and you get a little water on it, and basically it's faux germination. You try to think it's going to start growing. It'll crack open, a little shoot will appear, and then they dry it immediately. So that's just malted grains. What that does is increases surface area, changes the enzymes, the enzymatic reactions you're going to produce when you start cooking with water, where you get some of those diastases and amylases. Now let's take that a step further. After you've done dry the grain, right? You take that grain and you kiln fire it. Some people do it different ways. The ones we use, they use kilns to do this. They kiln fire it and they toast it. And so when you toast it just a little bit and it starts to get like a light honey color, that's honey malt. And it does play into the taste too, because honey malt does bring a lot of honey to the flavor. Think like Honey Nut Cheerios. That's where they're getting a lot of the honey flavor, is toasting their grains to get like a honey color, and it gives a honey flavor. You can take it several different levels. You can have caramel malts. It's a little more toast. Chocolate malts, coffee malts, things like that. Where there's some chocolate malt.
I was going to say,
around
wait.
here the last couple years. Yeah.
I might be getting confused because I see chocolate rye, and that's a different strain of rye. It's
That
not.
is a different strain. So
Okay.
you see like a chocolate malt, because there's like a mash bill that we're using that has chocolate malt rye and chocolate malt wheat, I think, in there, and chocolate malt barley. There's a few different types of chocolate malts you can use. I know that there is a strain of rye out there that is a chocolate rye, but I don't know if it's widely in use in distillation. I think when you see like chocolate rye on something, they're really talking about like chocolate malt.
Oh, so something like Woodford has their chocolate malt.
That's a chocolate malt.
Wow, I thought it, because I know Balcones now. I think they use the strain, because I think on the back of the bottle it does say using a unique. I gotta double check the bottle. Maybe I just interpret it as a strain versus the way that they toast it. So that's interesting. Very good info.
Yeah,
another
chocolate malting is great.
Which barrel char do you guys use? What level?
So everything is 3. So the 2 that we're doing tonight, that's a level 3. The Derringer, if you ever see that sherry finish out there, that's a level 4.
Okay.
But the really interesting thing about our barrels is they're not just charred, they're toasted first.
Okay.
So Kelvin Cooper, so, if you look at the bottle, I was kind of talking about like the age statements on there. The mash bill is also on these bottles to be very transparent.
Right.
But on Cave High Gold and then Boxer Grail or Rye, you'll see this little seal on the side here, and it's got a little like heraldic lion. That's
This is
Kelvin
definitely not
Cooper's.
in focus, but
That's it right there. Yeah, let's see if I can do it too. We'll do it together. There we go. Yeah.
You can make something out of here. Double vision. Make something out of both of
Double
us.
vision. So that is Kelvin Cooper's seal. That's the cooperage that we use. So they toast and char every single barrel that they give us. The really cool thing that they do not use a gas flame. They actually build a wood fire underneath every single barrel. So when we're talking about this, you're kind of talking about like this is like a 3.5 to 4.5-year-old bourbon, but it tastes a lot older. That is really playing into it, is using those special barrels to get like an older sort of flavor to it. The honey malt helps with that a little bit too, but those barrels are integral to our flavor.
Absolutely. I know we're running a little low on time, so I guess let's go ahead and get the next one poured in our glass. Let's go ahead and pour the high gold, which, by the way, I didn't mention, but these bottles are absolutely beautiful. I gotta say, like, it's first of all, it's tall, so it's like at first I was like, oh, I don't have room to pour it here, but man, this stands out on the shelf. So I think that's probably why you guys do, especially in California, people care about how things look. So I think you guys did an awesome job with this. I mean, what is there a story behind like why you guys went this direction with like really having a standout bottle?
Exactly what you just said. It's tall. It's eye-catching. You got to remember where this brand started from. It started with love, right? Mm-hmm. And so that bottle is seductive, and you kind of fall in love with the shape of it. It's very lovely to the eye.
It's very, very long. Maybe that's why I was trying to do it. We'll see.
It is it's just a beautiful shape, that bottle, and I think that really just that plays back into that idea of love. You know what I mean? And so that's really. That bottle not only stands out, but it kind of means something to everybody too. All right. So, High Gold. So High Gold, whereas Cave Hill is named after a whole bunch of people, High Gold's named after one guy, Christian High Gold, who was a German immigrant in the 19th century. He was a stonemason, changed the face of Louisville. Cave wanted to name a bottle after him because he's a huge Louisville figure. And since he was from Germany, we used 25% malted German rye in this. And 5% malted.
German's not a type of toasting, right?
Nope, comes straight from Germany.
This one, make sure.
No, this one is straight up. So it's harvested and malted in Germany and then sent to us. German rye tends to have a little bit more kind of fruitiness and floral notes than like Northern American or Canadian rye, where those are a little bit more greener, a little bit stronger on like minty and herbal flavors and a little more black pepper on them. Since this is malted, it's even sweeter. This one's hard to guess that it's a high rye right away because this is like toasted coconut and butterscotch and orange peel.
I was gonna say, did you see the
way.
I'm sorry if I missed it.
Yeah.
Did you go to
70% corn and then 25% malted German rye and 5% malted barley?
Okay.
So same ratio of like 70% corn to 30% malted grains, but completely different flavor. I mean, that's the reason we do 2 bourbons. A lot of people look at it and go, why do you need 2 bourbons, 2 Kentucky straight bourbon whiskeys, both 95 proof, both about the same age, both ratio of grains, because they taste completely different.
Yeah, the one thing that you said, I think, on the nose is I do get like more citrus than I know you said floral, but I'm getting a lot more citrus on this.
Yeah. Whereas like Cave Hill's more like grapefruits.
This one to me smells more honey. The other one tasted more honey. This is like a honey sweet citrus kind of note.
This one's almost like honeysuckle to me.
Okay, you know what? Yeah,
right, sort of honey,
right?
Yeah. Which when you say honeysuckle, I feel like the honeysuckle doesn't really smell like when you say honeysuckle in like whiskey or wine. Well, or anything.
Even though I'm in California, I grew up in South Carolina. We had a honeysuckle tree outside, so I know the experience of it.
You know what I mean, though, right? That kind of like high honey smell, yeah.
Yeah. Oh man, it smells good. I haven't tried it yet though. Cheers.
Cheers.
Yeah, definitely toasty. I mean, I know you said you toast the barrels on both these, but it has that. I love a good toast. Like a lot of distillers are releasing like a toasted rye or a toasted, release. I get some of those. Like I always get like a marshmallow sweetness on like a toasted product. So I'm getting a little bit of that there on this one.
which is crazy because this is the high rye bourbon. Like, you expect this one to be really spicy. I think Cave Hill has a lot of that earthy kind of baking spice, whereas this one, it's almost backwards. Like, this one starts sweet and then gets citrusy on the mid palate, but then in the Kentucky hug right here, right in the chest, definitely like cinnamon, right?
Yeah, no,
really long finish.
You know, if you weren't about to say cinnamon, I would say the finish is cinnamon for sure. So that's funny. We both got that.
And that's the Kelvin barrels just working really hard to bring out, you know, different types of spice depending on the grains in there. And that just blows my mind that you can do everything. I mean, same fermentation technique, same stills, same yeast. You can do everything exactly the same way, non-chill filtering. You just switch out a few grains and it's a completely different product. It's a completely different product.
Yeah, and someone was asking, do other distilleries use Kelvin cooperage often? I see them all the time. I think a lot of distilleries, especially ones that really care about the bottles. We just had someone on from oh man, I forget. You know what? I hate that I forget it. Chicken Cock.
Oh,
so
yeah.
Their master distiller over there. His big thing is barrels. That's kind of where he got his start. He was in the barrel industry, so he just talks about how important barrels are. And I believe they work with Kelvin cooperage. I could be wrong, but I think they do too.
Probably, yeah. I mean, Kelvin. The thing about Kelvin is it takes so long for them to create barrels because roasting takes like 15, 20 minutes. Charring even takes, instead of being like a quick like 15, 30-second char, it's like 60 seconds char just to a level 3. So it really, they don't put out 15,000 barrels a day or whatever, like independent staves. So huge distilleries for the most part don't use Kelvin. It's kind of, the distilleries are doing like 20,000 barrels a year, 35,000 barrels a year. Yeah, that are really trying to hone in on thinking about their bourbons like a chef does, building layer and layer and layer when you're cooking is so important to flavor development. And the barrel selection plays really big into that process.
Yeah, speaking of that, for those of you watching this, next week I'm reviewing the new 4-Gate Ruby Springs Rye. And it's another situation where they really care about, they use Kelvin cooperage as well. So that's why I think it seems like there's a lot that use it, but I think it's a lot of these smaller ones that I'm, collaborating with on this scale. So keep an eye out for that on hopefully next Thursday. I'm not going to be live on Thursday because I'm traveling, but I'll probably do a premiere of that video. So y'all, just a little teaser for those of you while we're on the topic of barrels.
I met the people that started 4-Gate right before they released the very first bottle. They actually came to the Rabbit Hole Distillery and did a tour with me. And it was just kind of cool just hearing, these people, they were so excited. They were releasing it, the next day. It was the big release day, and it was just so cool it was contagious, their excitement about it, So that's just how the industry is. We all love it when something new is getting ready to come out. We all kind of go crazy. The fans and consumers think they go crazy and they get FOMO. Try working at the distillery.
Yeah. Was it Bill over at 4-Gate?
Ah, man, it's been 3 years now.
Oh, okay.
I just can't remember his name. It was actually a
Bill
few different people. Mm-hmm.
Bill he's not their master. They don't really have a master, so I think it's a master blender situation. But every time they have a new release, he gets so excited. He emails me they actually haven't had them on a stream. I'd love to at some point, but he's like, "Oh, you got to try this new thing we have." And they just send me a sample of it. So they get really, really excited about their releases.
I remember just hanging out with them that day and just having a ball with them. And it was a few of them. I think it was kind of a mix between the people who were blending it, the people who invested in it, things like that. And they were so excited about their release. It was really cool.
Awesome. I guess do have a couple questions that I have on my end, but we also want to talk a little bit about gaming because I've heard that you're quite a gamer yourself. Is that right?
I mean, here and there, I will say that, my job, I work my job so many hours a week. Sometimes it's hard for me to get away, but Louisville had a huge snowstorm a couple weeks ago. And the night that it was starting, everyone else was going grocery shopping, buying milk and eggs. We'd already done that. And I knew I was about to be snowed in for a few days for my wife. And so I drove to a store and bought a Switch because I've always wanted a Switch. For the last time, I wanted a Switch. And I walk in and other people are the parking lot's a mess. And other people are like, "Oh, do y'all have milk and eggs?" She's like, "Oh, yeah, right over here." And I'm like, "Excuse me, I would like to buy a Switch. Can you open up the thing?" And so I bought a Switch and me and my wife. The
essentials, man. You got the essentials down.
You know what? I knew we were going to. And my wife has never been a big gamer, but she loves platformers and Mario. And so newest Mario.
I played some other releases, but honestly, Nintendo games are legit. They're where I can spend hours and hours and hours just playing like Mario, like you said. Yes. So what have you been playing on the Switch? What's been your newest?
We went through the entire Mario. So the Mario 3D world, we just co-opted that, and then I'm starting to work through Bowser's Fury. She's not too big in open world stuff, but I'm okay with that. She's one of those
I don't
people
even know
that
what that is. Is that new?
it's brand new. It like just came out, I don't know, like a month ago, 2 months ago, something like that. And it's really fun. It's super fun. But lately, within like the last 3 or 4 days, I finally got Breath of the Wild, Zelda, Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. And man, I'm
such an awesome
loving
game.
it. It's loving it.
Environment-wise, I mean, I've always been a Legend of Zelda game fan. I've played most. I skipped a couple, like in like the N64 GameCube kind of region.
Yeah.
But every Legend of Zelda game I've played, I've absolutely loved just the story. You get drawn in so much to it.
What's your favorite one ever?
You know, I sound like super like, oh, I'm nostalgic or whatever, but Ocarina of Time, that was just the one that I spent the most hours playing as a kid. I mean, and I haven't even, you know what, I haven't even played Majora's Mask, which was the follow-up to that one. I have never played that one. So maybe if you guys are interested in that, I could stream that on Twitch. Let me know in the comments if y'all are fans of that one.
I am a Wind Waker guy. I loved Wind Waker because I loved the shell shading, and I don't know, that was the first Zelda that really grabbed me. Like I'm old enough that I played like the original, like the first 2 Zeldas on Nintendo, like the original Nintendo, and they were never like my absolute favorite, but I played them. But man, Wind Waker was the one like that just grabbed me. I was crazy for it. But I am loving Breath of the Wild. I am loving this game.
Yeah, well, so Wind Waker, I watched. I never played it, but I watched it secondhand because my brother had a GameCube. I was already on the PlayStation, Xbox kind of side of things, but I found myself constantly in his room watching him play that game. So that's another one I got to play. So again, if y'all want to see that one. Well, awesome.
It's so much fun.
I guess coming up, so you guys are doing. I saw an ad actually on Facebook. You guys are doing private virtual tastings. Are you behind that, or like what's the story with those?
I am. So that was really very early on in my role as digital brand ambassador. You know, once we kind of close down, like how can we reach people? Like people really crave that sort of one-on-one tasting experience that you get at a distillery. Sometimes not one-on-one, you're in a group of people. So what we did is we set up this program where if you bought, so it depends on where you get it from. You can get it from the distillery. We also offer it on like caskers.com, reservebar.com. I think maybe Cask Cartel is on there as well. A few different online retailers. And then even select retailers around the store, like brick and mortar, you can find them. Where if you buy, sometimes it's 3 of the bottles, sometimes it's 4 of the bottles. You just basically are buying the bottles and you get a free private virtual tasting. And when I say private, I mean you and me. Like I'm not going to loop you in with a group of people. It's just on a Zoom call. You buy it. It has a link that takes you to the landing page where you actually schedule it yourself. And it's like, you know, there's a charge on it, but you put a promo code in that comes with that purchase, and it takes the charge off completely. So it really is completely free. And then I contact you. I give you a link, and on the day and time that you scheduled, it's you and me. Like we just show up. And I've had them to where it's literally just me and one other person. I've had them where there's 6 different people. They shared the link out with their friends, and it's across like 3 or 4 time zones. It's so much fun. I cannot tell you how fun it is. People, I think a lot of times people are like, oh man, I'd rather just be at the distillery. That's cool and all, but I will tell you the problem you have at the distillery, there's laws regulating how much we can pour you. We can only pour you up to like 1.75 ounces. So if you taste 5, products, you're going to get a quarter ounce of each one, right? When you're doing it at your home, you can pour as much as you want because you don't have to drive anywhere, and we're going to have a really good time. And I'm going to have a drink with you every single time.
That's awesome. Actually, that work, like you said, these people sharing with their friends, I think that's such a cool idea. Actually, a lot of my friends out here, we used to have like in-person meetups where we would go to this one guy's house and bring all our bottles. We've been doing a couple like Zoom virtual ones where we send each other samples, but something like that would work so well because we could just split a bottle and have you guys come on and talk about it. That's such a cool idea. I know a lot of people here in the chat were saying like, I'm excited to go buy a bottle of Rabbit Hole. Well, if you buy, what do you say, like 3 or 4, check out their website for more information.
I will tell you, even if you just buy like 1 or 2 of the bottles, just hit me up. I have the easiest email ever, everybody. It's adam@rabbitholedistillery.com. Be like, hey, I saw you on Clifton's show. It was great. I bought a bottle of Cave Hill. I'd love just to talk to you about it. I'll just schedule some time with you, and we'll just do like a good one. We'll do like a 30-minute tasting, and we'll really get super nerdy about it and talk about the bourbon and whatever else you want to talk about. Like, I just love doing them. Like, they're so much fun. So just contact me. Just let me know, everybody.
That's awesome. Well, final question for you regarding like you guys' like news and new announcements. I saw you guys just announced you're doing a new Founders Collection using a 15-year-old cask strength bourbon. Can you tell us about that? I saw it on Twitter.
Yeah, so it is going to be our second limited release. The first one happened in October. We're going to try and do 2 of these a year. The first one that we released was Boxer Grail, our rye, but it was some of the very first barrels that Cave laid down when he first started distilling, and it's about 6 years old, and it came out to about 7 barrels, so it was like 1,300 bottles or so, incredibly limited. It was cask strength. It was like 115 proof. Excellent. This next one is a completely different animal. It is a 15-year-old bourbon. We obviously, it's not our distillery. Like, we didn't produce that. We haven't been around for 15 years. It actually came from Cave's personal stocks. When he got into Kentucky and he started really falling in love with bourbon, he started buying barrels of bourbon and like aging them in these warehouses where he bought them from. And so this is a really great bourbon. It's about 15 years old, but is then aged for an extra year in Mizunara Japanese oak casks, which are incredible. If you all don't know about Mizunara oak, these trees can be like 200-300 years old. They're huge casks. They're incredibly rare to find. And it just adds this incredible, almost like sandalwood and tobacco sort of finish to this already 15-year-old bourbon. It's an experience. And so we're going to be releasing that around Derby, which is the first Saturday in May. So around that time, we're going to be releasing that. There's going to be select retailers around the country. So if you all are interested, just go to your retailer and be like, hey, I really want one of these bottles. Can you order it? Or when it gets in, can you let me know? And we'll see.
Do you know
hopefully you'll be able to get one.
How many bottles that release going to be?
I think there's it's around the same as the Boxer Grail. I think it's like 1,200. It's less than Boxer Grail, so I think it's around like 1,200, something like that. I don't know the exact number. I don't even know if we've landed on the exact number because we're actually still fulfilling orders. And until you completely empty the barrels, you have no idea how much is in there, right, and how much loss you're going to have. So I'm thinking we're selling around 1,200 or so, something like that.
Awesome. Well, yeah, you guys definitely ask your retailers about that. If not, just reach out to him. He could probably point you in the right direction.
Yeah, I'll just send you one. Stop on me.
Well, I know a lot of people are coming in at the last minute. I guess someone just finished their stream. Last minute shout outs to Cohen and Sam from My Whiskey She Wines. Good to see y'all. Catch the replay if you're very curious about Rabbit Hole. Adam, thank you so much for taking us through the distillery. And like I said, first time doing a virtual tour on my channel. So happy we did it with you. You're such an awesome character. Someone said they want to have a drink with you. So
I get that a lot.
Awesome. Any last, where can people find you on the web or where they can find about Rabbit Hole? I guess do your little spiel at the end.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like I said, if anybody, is really interested and just want to learn more about Rabbit Hole, you can always reach out to me at adam@rabbitholedistillery.com. You can reach out to info@rabbitholedistillery.com. Spoiler alert, they all come to me. But you can kind of set all our channels at Rabbit Hole on Instagram, on Facebook. I think TikTok. I mean, there's we're all over the place right now.
You guys are killing it on TikTok. That's actually, we talked a bit about that. You guys have an awesome presence there. If you guys don't know, there is a bourbon TikTok community, which, by the way, if you're not yet following me on TikTok, sorry to cover you up there, Adam, but there's my TikTok code. So just want to throw that out there for a second.
On the internet. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a really interesting community there. But yeah, please reach out. And whenever, Clifton, I'm going to say this, the next time you're in Louisville, let me know. We'll come up here. We'll walk through the distillery. We'll do even more tasting together, and we'll have a lot of fun together.
I was going to say, you guys have some ryes, so you're welcome back on my channel anytime. If we want to talk about the ryes, do another one of these. That would be awesome. But very, very cool. I do want to, before we head out, I just want to say Saturday I am going live. For those curious, I'm doing there's 2 ideas because I'm still waiting on a package. Who knows if it's going to show up in the mail in time? If it shows up, I'm doing a live tasting of this event called Sip Awards, and it's they send out samples to people blind across the country to try out, give their reviews and tasting. So I ordered a bottle myself. It's not sponsored. I just ordered a bottle. So I'm gonna taste through those lives if that arrives. If it doesn't arrive, I'm doing a blind flight sent to us by our friend Scary Peeper. Y'all all know Scary Peeper in the chat. So I'll let y'all know. Y'all see the Facebook or the post on that. But also after that stream, y'all have been asking for it. We're gonna do it. I'm doing part 2 of I Love You, Colonel Sanders over on Twitch. So Adam, but this game is basically a dating simulator for Colonel Sanders. Have you heard of it?
No, I haven't, but it looks
It is the most
amazing.
ridiculous thing. I did a full stream of it on my channel, but so if you're curious about seeing that, if you guys want to see that, make sure to check out my Twitch page, twitch.tv/Bourbon Bytes. The link is down below. Please give me a follow and definitely turn on notifications because you got to see part 2 of that. If you missed part 1, you got to see part 2. It's very, very interesting. Well, again, Adam, thank you so. Ooh, wow. Okay. I'm sorry. I was moving my challenge coin that is available to patrons only at patreon.com/Bourbon Bytes off of my glass. Awesome. Well, Adam, thank you again for being here. And for those of you that are patrons and you're going to the after party, I'll see you over on Discord for the after party. Cheers, guys. Cheers, Adam. Thank you so much. Dropped here in Southern California yesterday. Standard. All of them here for you tonight. So if you are watching the replay, I will be putting a description in the description below. You should see time codes that you can skip around and find your beer that you have, or enjoy all of them with me as well. I invited some friends of the channel and supporters of the show here to drink some of these with me. They've also bought bottles of them. So I'm gonna go ahead and bring them on. So please welcome, first of all, Patrick the Bourbon Noob. We can follow on Instagram. You are definitely the beer expert of the group. I feel like you go crazy for these every year.
I mean, I buy them, but
okay. Okay. More so than me though. I mean, I'm not really super into beer, which is why I wanted to invite you guys on to kind of help out with maybe tasting notes, because I mean, I'm good at whiskey notes, but beer notes I'm not the best at. So thought it'd be good to have some friends doing it with me.
Yeah.
So I'm also going to bring on our good friend. You guys know him, but you may know him as Brandy. Please welcome Brandon. What's up,
What
Brandon?
an asshole, Cliffy.
Sorry.
What's up,
I'm
Patrick?
just kidding. What's up, Brandon? Thank you so much for coming on.
By the way, I think I can challenge. I want to challenge Patrick. I think I got plenty of beer for him too.
So, Brandon, you are also a beer guy, right? You are more into it than me as well.
Yes, sir. And I actually did get all the special releases because I'm a sucker for these ones, so I had to get them all.
Oh yeah. Oh man. Oh, lucky you. Well. Oh, you don't have to open them tonight. Maybe another stream we can bring those out.
Definitely another stream for sure.
So I also want to bring on our next guest of the night, who's going to be joining me with the first one of the original edition of the 2021 Goose Island Bourbon County Stout. Please welcome Zopher. What's up, Zopher? Look how inquisitive he is.
Oh,
hey.
Oh, you didn't see you there. I love it. Zopher, what's going on, man?
Not much. Ready to drink some beer.
Hell yeah.
Same here. So now I saw that Donnie in the chat mentioned that he had some of these. Donnie, if you want to join us for this, let us know. I will send you the StreamYard link. We also, Perry will be joining us later if he's able to make it home in time. I think he's at work right now. So he has the link. He may hop on later. But Donnie, I know you said you guys have some of these. So if you want to join us, let us know. I'll send you the link. But everyone else, thank y'all for tuning in. This is, I guess, an exciting time of the year for beer lovers. So I guess I'm trying to just get hyped with you guys.
yeah, it's stout season for sure.
Hell yeah.
Oh yeah.
So I've had some of these last year. I had Patrick actually sent me a what was it, the oatmeal stout?
Yeah, it was the mocha one or the maple one.
Yeah, and I think that was my favorite last year. I actually ended up grabbing a second one of that one, but I also had the original from last year too. And I thought, you know what, I would get the whole lineup, the whole basic lineup this year, mainly to do a video. Honestly, I kind of want to taste through them, and especially if someone's like deciding, which one should I buy? Well, I'm trying all 4 tonight, so we'll see how quickly Cliffy shows up tonight. So I'm going to go ahead and start with the first one. Zopher, you're going to be drinking that one with me, right? The original.
Yes.
Yeah, so you got to get it poured nice. That's a big, hefty glass. I guess you guys aren't drinking 4 of them like I am.
Pace yourself, buddy. Pace yourself.
Well,
yeah,
so
I just saw the ABV.
Yes, I will mention that after this stream, I'm going to be going live on Twitch to play some Grand Theft Auto 3. So I'm going to be drinking these beers continuously all night. So if you want to see Drunk Cliffy play Grand Theft Auto, I put a link in the description below to my Twitch channel. Please give me a follow over there. I'm getting really close to being able to be an affiliate over there, which means I can monetize my videos. So it's as simple as following and watching when I'm live. You don't even have to be in the chat, just like show up. And Twitch loves that stuff. So if you guys could follow me over there, it would mean so much. But we got some beer to drink.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess before I get into my glass, I want to give a couple shouts to people in the chat. Thank y'all for tuning in on Saturday. Scroll all the way up. Mr. Whiskey Shit, it's good to see you. Scott Pigsley. Oh man, y'all are. You know what? I have not drank any bourbon today because I'm not gonna get completely wasted. Donnie's here. He says he's gonna pass. He has a couple of them, but he's gonna just watch along with us. Fred Gilbert, no beer for me. Just finished a Loco Moco. Oh my gosh, I love Loco Mocos.
Yep.
Swan says he got a beer for Donnie as well. Nice. Raining on Your Parade says, how does the base age? When is the peak? That's probably a question for someone else.
5 years.
And I see Sugar Kitty's in the house. What's up, Sugar Kitty? Whiskey Nose. What's up, Marty? How you doing? Or Jenny? Peter White says they sold out in 5 minutes in Ontario. Holy crap. That's crazy.
That's crazy.
Damn.
I did go so I went like a couple hours after opening at Bevmo, which is where I got mine, and they had all of them. They had a few boxes of them, but they didn't have any of the like the 150th or the twice. What's it called? Double barrel or twice barreled?
It's the toasted, yeah.
The toasted twice barreled, and then the Blantons.
Yeah, Steve Burkhouse says everyone hit that like button. Thank you so much, Steve. Yes, hit the like button if you guys want to see more beer reviews, or even if you don't, still hit it. Aiden says, "Yeet, I'll be in and out." All right. Fred says it'll be worth it to watch GTA 3 Twitch stream just for Cliffy's drunk driving. Oh, there will be plenty of drunk driving in the video game, of course. Not real life.
There you
Do
go.
not endorse drunk driving. But all right, so Zopher, we have the original one. So if anyone's not familiar with this Bourbon County Stout, this is from, of course, Goose Island. They're based out of Chicago. They started releasing these Bourbon County Stouts in 1993, which is also, or was it 92? I forget. I was like 93 is the year I was born, but I think it was 92. But this original one is 14% ABV. It was about $15 here in Southern California. And so they basically take their stout, their Imperial Stout, and they put it in Heaven Hill, Wild Turkey, and Buffalo Trace barrels and leave it in there from 8 to 14 months. So as you can tell from Zopher's glass, this stuff is dark and rich. I mean, it looks better on his screen than mine.
The aroma when you cracked it open. Did you smell the aroma as soon as you popped it open?
I was distracted and I missed it, but it smells so. It's like, wow, that's like super chocolatey coffee. Man, what are you getting on the nose on it, Zopher?
We're dealing with the stout. Lots of chocolate, some vanilla behind it.
Mm-hmm.
A little malt, a little malt flavor, which I like. I mean, it's a stout. We ought.
Yeah, I would say if you don't like malt, don't buy any of these because I think they're all going to be pretty malty. And it's going to be interesting to go through them. So, I mentioned earlier, but so Brandon's going to be joining me with drinking the Cherrywood. And then Patrick is going to join me with the cola. What is it called?
Cola.
Classic cola.
Classic cola.
Classic
I will
cola.
be finishing with the 14, which is like a tribute to one of their most fan favorite blends. So we're starting out with the original, and then we'll do a little comparison as we go along. But I wanted to invite Zopher on because I'm glad to have you for this. Cheers, guys.
Thanks for having me.
Cheers, boys.
Oh wow. Huh, that's not
sweet.
It knows it's different than it tastes, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to give a shout out to 21090, who are a whiskey and beer review channel. They reviewed all 4 of these, and I actually watched their reviews right before this. They are very informative. Hopefully you guys find this informative, but if you don't and you're mad at me at the end of it, go watch 21090. They did a fantastic series of videos on these. But one note that they gave on the taste of this original one was licorice, and I 100% get that.
Like black licorice, Clifton, or red licorice?
Black. I think it's
black. Yeah, it's
black.
almost like more.
I was kind of thinking
savory.
the same thing. I was like, I hate black licorice, so.
Well, it's more of like a savory, salty kind of licorice, which I know is like the more traditional way that licorice is made. It's not like the fake cherry or anything like that. But there's like some nice like coffee, like I guess maybe toffee kind of thing that surrounds that kind of makes it bearable. I think that's actually very, very good.
There's a little bit of carbonation at the front too. With this more than
tip of the tongue.
Typical on the stout. There's tip of the tongue. It's definitely carbonated. Probably the whole bottle age.
Oh yeah. Now proof wise, I think these are all around the same proof. This one's 14% ABV. I did not research these other ones. Oh, it's 14.2. I think they're all going to be pretty similar in that category.
So
yeah,
for a stout, the finish is kind of a medium finish. It's not a very long finish, but it's a medium finish, but it finishes very clean.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, it's I kind of expected a longer finish, but I don't know if that's just because it's been a minute since I've had a like barrel aged beer, because I just remember those like sticking and lingering around. This one isn't like
caramel too.
Yeah, it's to me it's reading more like espresso bean chocolate. Like I've had like a chocolate that had espresso beans in it before. That's kind of what I'm getting on it. There's a question coming in from Steve Burkow. He says, once open, how long are they good for? How many days until you would need to finish one? You guys may have a better answer than me on that. So I I think it's probably pretty quickly. I did, however, buy these
An
little.
hour.
Oh, you can't see this is yellow. Hold on. I did buy these little silicone beer caps. So
Oh,
these
the
aren't going to
little
save
topper.
it long term, but they're going to at least save it in the fridge for, I would say, within a week, definitely. If you have something to cover it up with, probably no longer than that. What do you guys think? Is that
Maybe a day or two.
Yeah, I was like, usually it's a lot quicker than you would think.
Yeah. So that's why I'm going to try to do as much as I can. What was that?
I'm getting a like a chocolate covered caramel.
Oh, okay.
You know?
Well, yeah, it's kind of in line with what I was going. Let me get another first sip.
Typically with like little bits of sea salt on top, but those little candies sometimes sell at Costco.
Oh man,
Chocolate
exactly.
covered
Yeah,
with
that definitely.
caramel.
I 100% get that, like the little caramels with the salt on top of it. Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. I get that a lot. This is solid. I'm a big fan of this one.
It is nice.
For $15, I mean, if you're not familiar with any of these before and you've never had them before, I think the original one's a great one to pick up. Now, if you can, grab a couple of these other ones to do a little side by side, which I'm about to do. But that's a great start. So, Zofar, does that encourage you to go buy some more of them, or are you just going to stick with that one? Are you much of a beer guy?
Yeah. I live in Beer Town.
He lives in San Diego, so yeah.
I live in
That's true.
San Diego. We got like 300 something breweries, so
Yeah.
it's I love beer. It's just moderately, just so don't go too crazy. But I love it. I love going to breweries, getting a flight of what's on the menu, just going through all of them, and then ordering a pint or two of my favorites. So yeah, I absolutely.
Well, in that case,
love
how
beer.
would you? Okay, I'll let you rate this out of 5. What would you give this one?
I give this one a solid 4. This is really,
4.
really good. I don't give it a 5. I reserve that for like my utmost favorites. I like more coffee. I love coffee to be,
okay.
and this does have some coffee, but it's definitely more the chocolate and the caramel for sure.
Yeah, it's definitely
Very nice.
I don't want to say simple because simple seems negative, but I think it's very straightforward. Maybe is a better way to put it. It's not like super overly complex. You're not like searching for flavors. It's a really good flavor, but it's I've had other ones that are a little more complex. I think 4 is a very good rating. I think I'll have to agree with you on that.
Yeah, it's a solid, very solid 4.
Yes. So Zofar, I know you said you had
I'm
to drop
interested in
out
that
early.
cola and the cherry. Those sound like they're
Yes,
gonna
I
be
mean you're welcome to
very
stick around
interesting.
and stay on the stream and watch that, or if you want to just go in the chat, up to you. But just let us know if you want to drop off. Really cool.
Well, thank you very much for having me. I'll probably jump into the chat and watch from there. It'll probably be less glitchy for me. So thank you
All
very
good,
much.
man. Thank you so much for coming on. It means a lot.
Yeah, that's over.
Thank you.
See you later.
All right. So are we ready to move on to the next one? So someone asked in the chat, they said, which one are we on? Bourbon, we were just on the original. So I'm going to leave some of that in my glass, and I'm going to go ahead and move on to the cherry wood with our good friend Brandon here. So Brandon, you've been sipping on this for a while. You seem very excited about it.
Oh, I am. I haven't had one of these actually in a while. I've been going to Bottle Logic too much lately, so.
Oh yeah, well that's close by to you. So.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I was like, you need to come with Spencer and I. We'll hang out. That's all I drink anymore is just stouts and porters whenever I go out. Literally, I just get a flight of stouts.
That's awesome. So this one. So for those of you curious, this is the exact same base like stout that they started with the first bottle that we had, but they actually do a finishing in a toasted cherry wood cask. Now, don't get confused because when you hear cherry wood, your first mine did at least. I go to cherry because there are some cherry flavored stouts. I've had some that have cherry in the actual barrels. This does not. This is actually just the cherry wood. So it's going to have I imagine it's going to be toasty. It's going to be oak forward, maybe a little more fruit forward, but it's not going to be like maraschino cherry. I don't think. Well, Brandon, you've been sipping on it. What do you get on the nose? Let's start with the nose.
Yeah. Honestly, it's just a little bit of like almost like stone fruits, like dark fruits, with just a bunch of oak.
Oh man!
And like a hint of like carbonation, like obviously, and then a hint of sweetness, caramel, vanilla.
Yeah. So the nose of the original one, it's a lot more of the caramel vanilla, but this one,
this one's almost like darker.
I agree, 100%. Like it's darker. And maybe that's the toasted oak. I don't know. It's hard to tell on the nose. I'm going for a sip. Cheers.
Yeah. Cheers, guys.
Oh, that's more carbonated, at least to me.
Oh, it's almost like a soda carbonation almost. Like like
Yeah.
lightly carbonated, but
Which
it's
makes you wonder
good.
what the
It's-
cola is going to be like.
I know. I wanted to do that one, and Pat's like, "Oh, I'm gonna do the cola." I was like,
No
"Damn it!" I was
spoilers.
like, "I want to do
No
that one."
spoilers. We'll wait. But yeah, it's way more carbonated up front. I think it almost is a little more, I guess, tannic, I would say, a little bit on the finish. It sticks
Yeah.
around longer for sure. It's kind of
Yeah.
like, it finishes with like a sour kind of like, like a sour, like orange oak. That doesn't make sense, but it's like those two flavors are what I'm finishing on.
Mm-hmm. I was like, "Yeah, it's very good. It's very well rounded."
Mm-hmm. Now this one's $20, so it's a $5 increase over the original. But then again, they are finishing it, so it kind of, I mean, it makes sense to be more expensive, right? They're doing more with it.
Mhm.
Oh wait, 210's in the house. What's up? I gave you a shout out earlier. Where are they? I missed it. There we go. What's up, everyone? Love the cherry
There you
one.
go.
Yeah, so I mentioned earlier, 21090 reviewed all of these. I actually watched them earlier today. Great info there. So after this, if you guys are still curious about these, definitely go check out their videos. They also did a live stream where they tried them all on a live stream like this. So great guys over there. They're just killing it with the beer reviews and the whiskey reviews. So cheers to them for the inspiration, honestly.
Mm-hmm. I was like, "Yeah, it's very good."
Yeah, so the cherry wood, they actually cut it in like a honeycomb shape to kind of like, which when I hear that, I'm thinking it's like kind of like a waffle fry kind of situation.
Mhm.
So I think it's to let it penetrate the oak as much as possible, which is really interesting.
Yeah, and it's funny. I don't know about you, but I don't, like you said earlier, like I don't get any cherry at all, honestly.
Mm-mm. And I feel like people are going to be scared of this one because they're going to see that and they're going to be like, oh, cherry. I don't like cherry. I don't like cherry personally. So
Yeah.
honestly, when I saw cherry wood, my first thought was, oh, I don't want that one. But I did some reading. I'm like, oh, cherry wood, not cherry.
Mm-hmm. I was like, "Yeah, it's actually very good." Don't forget that there are notes on the back of these bottles as well. So don't forget if anyone wants to look at them. It tells you it's just subtle notes, so it's nothing too crazy. But
Yeah, what do they
They
say
are
about this
there.
one? Oh yeah, subtle notes of stone fruit, dark cherry, and light wood tannins. Oh, they get you with the cherry though.
I was like, I don't get any cherry, but that's just me.
I don't really either, and I'm sensitive to cherry. So I guess if it's a natural kind of cherry, I'm more okay with it. But I'm very sensitive to like the fake, sugary, sweet, artificial cherry. I don't like that.
Yeah.
21090 says I think the cherry wood will age well. So yeah, so we were talking a little bit before. So Patrick always buys doubles of these, and he saves them and ages them. Have you ever tried any of the ones that you've left age a while?
I just had the 2020 last week, but everything else I'm kind of just aging, and that was only because when they came out with the 2021 on base on Monday, I accidentally grabbed a 2020. So,
Nice.
I went ahead and just tried it, but
Yeah, I was looking at the one of my liquor stores here. Because I was searching for these new ones, and they have, I don't know if they still have, they say they have it in stock. They say they have the 17, 18, 19, and 20. So I'm like, should I just buy them all and like do a little side by side? Maybe if this beer review goes well, I might do that.
well, they usually come out with a vertical set of the last 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
I looked, and then they had that. However, buying them individually was actually cheaper. So I might go that method if they have that.
Yeah. And Clifton, let me know. I actually know of a place that used to. I don't think they still have them anymore, but they went back to all the way to 2015.
Wow. Okay. You know what I mean?
And they were like $8 or $10 a bottle too. So
No, yeah, these are about 10 each. I definitely paid more for these new ones than the older ones, but I guess that makes sense, right? Everyone's looking for them. I saw a comment from Elizabeth. There we go. She says we have some 2015s and 2016s. Holy crap! Yeah. So Elizabeth and Chris are our friends out here, and they're in San Diego, but they're awesome whiskey lovers and apparently beer lovers. I didn't know that.
well, yeah, they live in San Diego, dude. It's kind of like you have to be a beer lover to live down there.
Yeah. Yeah. I now do I say I prefer it? I'm gonna rank these at the end, but I do want to decide if I prefer the original or the sherry wood.
Yeah, I was like, this one, like I said, this one just average to me. Like you said last time, it's almost just like a basic beer. Like, yeah, it's a little bit different with the cherry wood, but again, it's nothing too complicated, nothing too complex.
To me, the extra carbonation that I feel like that has now, again, that could just be per bottle, right? Because it could have just been like, it wasn't as carbonated in the bottling that I got. The extra carbonation makes this drink a lot easier and a lot lighter. And for that alone, if I'm going to rank these, I might as well stick with it since we ranked the first one. I give the first one a 4. I would probably give this a 4.25. It's not that much better, but there's something a little bit extra going for it. And I like that.
Most definitely.
Awesome. Well, Brandon, you said you wanted to stick around and hear our notes on the rest. So
yeah, of course.
So Patrick, you already, actually, are you ready to move on to it? But you've been drinking it. Hold on. I'm catching up, guys. I got 4 beers to drink here. All right. So this next one is called Classic Cola Stout. This one well, the next two are the two most expensive in the standard ones. This was $26 in my area. Patrick, you probably paid a lot more because you're in Washington.
Surprisingly, no. I think it was.
Oh, really?
25,
Okay.
25 versus 26.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's not bad.
The beer doesn't fall into the Washington liquor tax. So.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
Okay. So this one's called their Classic Cola Stout. They said that both the brewers Paul Cade and Jason Krasowski bonded over their love for a classic cola while creating a classic cola stout. Combining the refreshing nature of classic cola and picking up the flavor from a whiskey cola, we added lime and orange juice and zest, coriander, cassia bark. I looked it up and it's like cinnamon bark. It's like a Chinese cinnamon bark. Nutmeg, brown sugar, and vanilla to bring out the complex characteristics of the classic drink. They said this is the ultimate twist on a whiskey cola and a must-try for Bourbon County Stout and whiskey and cola lovers. So that's high expectations. I do love a good whiskey and Coke.
Sounds really good. So I'm curious to hear you guys' thoughts.
Well, Patrick, I don't want to spoil it. Okay, what are your thoughts on the nose? What are you getting on the nose?
On the nose, let's see. It just smells like sugary. I don't know.
Yeah,
Hard to explain.
it's a lot more similar to the others than I thought it would be. With all those different things that they infused into it, I thought it would bring on a lot more of those flavors on the nose, at least.
I wonder if you're getting on the palate, Clifton.
It definitely smells sweeter, though. I can definitely get that. So I'm gonna go ahead and try it. Cheers.
Cheers, boys.
Oh, it's different. Whoa, okay. There's like a mid-palate punch of like a bunch of flavors at once. Did you get that too, Patrick?
Yeah.
Whoa, that's very, very different. So, what as the more of a beer expert than me, how do you feel about this compared to other Bourbon County stouts that you've had?
I like it because it's different.
Oh yeah, it smelled
thick,
similar, but it like
thick molasses mid palate.
Molasses. Well, that makes sense with cola, right?
And it doesn't taste like you're drinking Coke, but
yeah, I guess I went into it thinking it would taste like Coke.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, I thought the same thing. I was like, oh, it's kind of a letdown almost.
So 21090 says, do you guys get Dr. Pepper on the nose of the cola? Oh, I love Dr. Pepper. I don't get it. I'm kind of struggling with the nose on this one. It's sweet, but I'm not getting anything unique about the nose.
Yeah, and then in Clifton also, the beers do change like on the nose and palate as they get a little bit warmer too.
Yeah, these were chilled before this, but I just put them in the fridge like 4 hours ago, so it's not too long.
Yeah, and I've been drinking on mine for about a half hour, so
I will say
it's starting to warm up. But
yeah, on the palate, I think it's more in line with what you were saying about the Dr. Pepper. It's more of like a cinnamon, like a maybe I'm getting more cherry on this than I was getting on the other one. It's like a sweeter cherry. It's like a chocolate covered cherry, but I do get the cinnamon, I think. I'm trying to see. There's like a little bit of like a tang there too, right, Patrick? There's like they said they added citrus. They added what they say lime and orange zest and juice. I think the finish. I'm getting a little bit on the finish.
yeah, I think they were trying to recreate that bite that Coke has.
Interesting.
That's so unique and so interesting that I think I'm going to rate that the highest so far. I'm giving that a 4.5.
That's about where I would put it.
Yeah, just because I like when they try something different. Because I mean, let's be honest. Like a lot of these like barrel aged stouts, they kind of taste similar. I mean, at least in my experience. I've tried a bunch of other like you mentioned Bottle Logic, Brandon. I bought theirs a couple years ago. I think it was. Well, Brandon, or also you, Patrick. I don't know if you've had anything from Bottle Logic. How does it compare in your opinion? Because that's a lot closer to me than this.
Yeah, I mean, to me personally, Bottle Logic is something depending on which one you're drinking. Obviously, it can be more in depth and more complex, but then also it's lighter. The same like these stouts, like these Goose Island ones, have always been real heavy to me. Real thick, real viscous. Whereas like the Bottle Logic, you still get a lot of flavor, but they almost feel lighter when you drink them.
And I feel like normally I do gravitate towards the lighter ones because I've had a couple of them and I've always been so surprised. Like, wow, this still packs the punch and the flavor in terms of like a stout. But I think drinking lighter is a benefit in my opinion.
Yeah, most definitely. That's usually why. Like again, that's why I stick to whiskey more than these stouts anymore. Is because these things are real heavy.
Oh yeah. The finish of that is like dark chocolate. It's weird. It goes citrus and then dark chocolate. And maybe I'm thinking that because I've had some of those like chocolates that are infused with like orange. It's kind of what it's giving me on the finish.
Interesting.
21090 said, I was surprised by how much I liked the cola. Wanted to hate it, but I ended up loving it. Like the 14 just a little bit more. So that's the one I'm moving on to next. These guys will just watch in jealousy. I'm just kidding. They have their own. So, but I
was like, who's jealous of what?
Well, Brandon, I like last minute. I was like, hey, Brandon, you want to come over tomorrow? I'm like, wait, I probably shouldn't just plan this last minute because this is a long drive for you. So I was like, I will do it virtually because I'm like, I'm not going to finish these myself. So I'm going to have to, I guess I'm going live on Twitch right after this to drink a little bit more of them, but I'm going to have to finish them in the next couple days.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. That's why I was like, you're brave for opening that many of them, man. It's a lot.
It's for these guys. It's for the channel. So, all right. So this last one is also $26. This is called 14. So the story behind this one is actually inspired by their Proprietors edition from 2014. So Proprietors is their Chicago only release. They release it every year, but the 2014 was a fan favorite. So they brought it back and they infused the same things into the actual bottle. The only difference is this one actually added rye into the mash bill. So the original one they aged in rye barrels, but this one they added rye to the actual mash. So I'm really curious to see how that impacts this. In terms of flavor, it's using the same. Is it Cassia or Cassia? Y'all educate me.
Probably
Okay,
Cassia, but I have no idea.
Okay, thank God. It's not just me. I don't want to sound like
yeah.
an idiot. It's like a common term that everyone knows, but okay, good.
Yeah, no,
But basically, it's like a cinnamon bark. And it says cocoa nibs, panela sugar, and coconut water is what this is actually infused with. So, or when they brewed it. So
I'm super curious to hear your notes because I'm not a fan of coconut at all. So if it's coconut water, I wonder if that's going to come through at all.
Well,
or...
according to 21090, they didn't get any of the coconut, so I'm actually curious. Okay. Oh, there's Elizabeth. Okay. Elizabeth, if anyone was going to educate us, it would be Elizabeth. So she said Cassia.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. It's over to Cassia. Gotcha. Okay. Good. The more you know.
Thank you.
Kesha.
Oh, okay. Whoa.
Oh, geez.
That's, again, it's very different. So you know how I was saying I was getting cinnamon on the cola? This is that same cinnamon, but like really, really amped up. It's like cinnamon sugar, like cinnamon and brown sugar. I do want to say I get a little of coconut, not necessarily coconut water, but like coconut, like meat or coconut meat. I guess it's called meat, but like coconut, like actual coconut.
Okay, so not toasted coconut. Got it.
Right, yeah, and it's very subtle. It's definitely there on the nose, though. That actually, if we're rating on nose alone, this is my favorite. This smells like the holidays, and that's what I'm excited about. All right, I'm going to go ahead and try it. Cheers, guys.
Mm-hmm. Cheers, boys.
Ooh. Whoa. Ah, man. I wish y'all were experiencing this with me. So it's like super... I was going to say spicy, but that's not the right word because you would think spicy with the rye added to it. It's not like a rye spice. It's more of like a holiday spice, lots of cinnamon. A little bit of like, there's a berry there. I don't know if it's like maybe cranberry is kind of what I'm getting on it. It does finish with a little bit of like a toasted coconut kind of element there, but it's at the very end of the finish and it's not overwhelming. I know, Brandon, you said you don't like coconut, so it's not it's not like the dominant flavor here.
Yeah, but still interesting though that you're getting it though.
Oh man. That's a tough one. So both that and the cola are my favorites because they're so unique. I think, honestly, if I had to skip one, this is going to sound bad. If I had to skip one, it'd be the original one. And that's only because I think the other three have something unique going for each of them. So if you want like the original one that's kind of like amped up a little bit, especially with the toastiness, the oakiness, the, I keep forgetting what this one's called, Cherrywood. I keep want to call Toasted, but Toasted is like a different one. So don't want to throw people off. So Cherrywood is an improvement on the original. I think the cola and the 14 are very different. So I don't think they're going to be your typical, if you're used to a regular, barrel aged stout, they're going to be way out of left field. But they're very good. I think, okay, so did we give the cola a 4.5, Patrick?
Yeah.
That one's going to be a 4.75 for you, I can tell.
Honestly, hold on. Because I honestly feel like, I'm not exaggerating, I honestly feel like this is for my palate, one of the best barrel aged stouts I've ever had. So,
yeah,
does it get the coveted 5 out of 5?
I mean, a lot of people said they did like this year's the 14 propriety. They did enjoy it a lot.
For me, okay, I'm being influenced by this time of year. So I am drinking this, the holidays. It's just Thanksgiving. We're going to Christmas season. If I had to pick a perfect barrel-aged beer, there are the ones that kind of get all like, we're trying to be holiday, so we're going to put peppermint and all this stuff in it. I'm not talking like that. I'm talking about just something that's just fits the mood perfectly. This 14 is it, and I got to give that my first 5 out of 5 beer rating because I've never done a beer review. So actually, that's not true. I reviewed the Bourbon County Stouts in 2019, I think. I made one review on YouTube. Don't look it up. It was probably really bad.
It's already on my playlist.
Yep. Sorry, dude. Watched it before this.
Oh, man. I like that. But they were all solid. I mean, there was nothing less than a 4.25 in my opinion. So, Brandon and Patrick, neither of you have had any of the other ones from this year previously, right?
Not yet.
Okay. Well, you guys have to come back to the comments and let people know below after the stream, once you've tried them, what you think of the others. How about that?
Oh, yeah.
There we go.
Most definitely. Why don't we just do another stream, Cliffy?
We can do another stream, but I'm not going to do the ones I've already had on the stream.
No,
Also, I'm
no,
not
the
saving
ones
these
you
bottles
haven't
for
had.
3 weeks. Oh, well, the new ones, absolutely. So 21090 says the 14 was much, much better than the 14 prop that inspired it. BCS, Bourbon County Stout, honestly killed it this year. I agree. I'm bad with acronyms, y'all. I knew that's what it stood for, but I'm like, oh, what is it? Bourbon Country? No, County. Well, Mojo 88 says, bless ups. Well, bless ups to you. Elizabeth says most bourbons actually feel lighter, even if cask strength, just because of this astringency than the Bourbon County offerings. And mash that thumbs up if you don't mind. Good info tonight. Did this help anyone decide to pick any of these up? Yes. Let me know if you're watching the replay. Let me know which one you picked up, and leave me your comments down in the description. Leave me your review in the comments below. I'm not used to asking that, but I'm very curious to hear what other people think of these, especially since beer is not something I'm that well versed in. But I mean, these are all solid, and thank y'all for coming on and tasting these with me.
Of course.
Thanks for having me.
Cliffy, now what do you think for the pricing of these? Because I know that scares a lot of people away too as well.
That's a good question. That's a great question to end on, because now that I've tried them all and I've ranked them, it continued to get better as we went on. Pricing wise, well, let me look real quick. I'm just typing real quick. All right, so pricing, the original one is $15. I think I think that's a good price. However, I think the cherry wood for $20 is the better beer for $5 more. If you're just buying it for yourself, I would say consider the upgrade to the cherry wood. Do y'all agree or disagree with that?
Yeah, I mean, so far so good.
Now both the other ones were $26. So I will say, I like how Heather said, "Save me a sip." Save her a sip, Patrick. Now the other ones are both $26. I would say, I think they are both worth that for sure. But if you're expecting a traditional barrel-aged stout, they're a little bit different. Patrick, what do you think about the cola? Would you say like $26 is appropriate, or should you, be willing to be out there with what you like?
I'd say if it was regular release, maybe $15 to $20. But since it's a limited one-time release, then it's one of those splurge things.
Mm-hmm.
But I really like it for what it is. So
yeah. And if you're familiar with their flavor profile, it's not going to be a complete. We're talking about how it's unique, but it's not like completely. I did say they was out of left field. That's a bit of an exaggeration. Out of left field, but the same team. For sticking with the sports analogy. So you can still tell it's the same thing, but the flavors are like slightly like, I don't want to say twisted or mixed up, but it's like the originals are heavy on the caramel and the chocolate and all that, whereas these other ones kind of amp up the kind of background notes on the original, and it kind of like changes up how you experience it. At least that's my opinion on it. And Donnie says he was drinking along with us. He said these are a treat, not everyday sippers. Worth it if you love stouts and barrel-aged beer. No need to FOMO if you are not into scouts. You won't want to drink 3 or 4 of them in one sitting, like Cliffy is doing. Speaking of which, if y'all want to see me keep drinking these, in about 5 minutes, I will be going live on Twitch, which is a website, or there's an app for it as well. If you're not familiar with it, it's mostly for gaming, but it's where I've been doing a lot of my gaming streams. I'm going to continue to drink these beers and get a lot more drunk. So Cliffy will be playing some vintage Grand Theft Auto 3, which came out 20 years ago as of last month. So if y'all want to see me play some Grand Theft Auto while a little bit tipsy, definitely some virtual drunk driving, twitch.tv/Bourbon Bytes. hope to see y'all there. Like I said, I'm really close to reaching that affiliate level on Twitch. So seriously, if you have an account or if you don't have an account, it's free to sign up. If you could follow me there, it would mean a lot to me. So Brandon and Patrick, thank y'all so much for coming on. This was a lot of fun. I'm excited about these, and I'm excited to try the LEs. Y'all have to let me know what you think of the other ones once you try them.
Yeah. Thanks for having us.
Sounds good, buddy. Thanks. Yeah, thanks for having us on, man.
Awesome. Cheers. And everyone else, I will see you on Thursday. I have a very special guest from Whiskey Acres Distillery, which I think they're also in Illinois. I think I need to ask our friend Eric Jansen, who introduced me to them, but they're a very, very small distillery. I'm having their founder onto the show, so it should be a lot of fun. So cheers, and tune in on Thursday. Have a great weekend, y'all.
Cheers, guys.
All right. See you.
But whiskey, so I had to have on one of my favorite Irish whiskey tubers. Please welcome to the stream, Stacy from Four Leaf Whiskey. Welcome, Stacy.
Thank you.
Well, first of all, thank you so much for sending me this flight. I know.
Thank you.
Well, first of all, thank you so much for sending me this flight. I know we've kind of done some sample swaps before, and I'm really excited to kind of dive into this very niche, I guess, type of like Irish whiskey that it's not all finished, right? Tell us a little bit about like the flight we're going to be trying.
This is all a flight that is finished in port. So that last flight I sent you, the top two that you had were both port, and you mentioned that you like port so much. And I told you the other day, I'm sitting around like, I have a lot of port finished Irish whiskey. I need to send some to Clifton. So
Awesome.
Here we are. This isn't even all of them. This is just them. This is just
Oh, really?
the ones that I picked out when I sent it.
That's
Yeah.
crazy. Yeah, I'm surprised. I guess I just didn't really think. I guess I don't really think very often of like finished Irish whiskey. I think of it just more of like, oh, they use some of this cask, some of this cask. But seeing something with such a strong cask influence, is that rare? Is that like more common? I'm curious.
It's pretty common.
Okay.
A lot of Irish whiskey is finished, and they're starting to branch out and mix different things, leave things in cask longer. One that you're actually going to try, the entire thing was matured in a port cask.
Ooh.
Now that's a little different.
Oh,
That's
I'm sure.
not
I'm
usually
sure.
the case, yeah.
Oh, that's so exciting. Like I said, I'm originally from like the bourbon world. I've kind of branched out. Irish was my next like branch in the world of whiskey. So I do really enjoy Irish whiskey. I'm still in Scotch. I'm still kind of exploring, figuring out Scotch, but I really have found what I like in Irish. But I feel like you open like a whole new world to me, like with this flight. So I'm really, really excited to see where it goes and which ones I gravitate towards.
I apologize to your wallet right now.
Oh no, yeah, I can't imagine. I told you, I was like, I had to Google all of these, like look up the thumbnail to like, I'm like, I have no idea what these bottles look like. I hope I picked the right bottle. I don't know, but well, very cool. If anyone does not know Stacy, like I said, she has an amazing channel called Four Leaf Whiskey. Stacy, can you tell us a little bit about what you do on your channel and like kind of do you have like a live schedule? Do you do posted videos? Just let people know.
I don't do posted videos nearly as often as I should. Sorry, guys.
I
do live streams on Sundays at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Last week, I had Sean Scully from Clonakilty Distillery. And this Sunday, I'm really super excited because Brendan Carty from Cologne Distillery is going to be joining me.
Awesome.
So we're going to be going through a few whiskeys, a couple that are available in the U.S. So I'm really, really excited. Everybody who already watches my channel knows I'm a massive Cologne fan.
That's awesome. I love that you're like having guests on from distilleries outside the U.S. I think I always love having guests on from like distilleries in the U.S. But it's so rare that we get people from brands that are international, especially with our timing. Like being on East Coast time, it's probably tough to make it work for their schedules. But
he'll be joining 11:30 Irish time. I believe it'll be 11:30. So it's going to be late for them. Even on the East Coast, it's pretty late for them.
I think I had someone on from I think it wasn't India. Oh, I'm forgetting now. Anyways, I had someone on from Milk and Honey. I forget what is their it's not is it Indian or I'm
Israeli?
Israeli, yes.
Yeah.
They were joining from Israel, and it was literally 7 a.m. their time. And I was like, I feel so bad making you drink whiskey this early. But they were great to have on. So very cool. Well, I want to say hello to some folks here in the chat. Zophar says top of the evening to you. Emily Chambers in the chat, as always. Cheers to you, Emily. Donnie, the Linux cat, howdy to you. Tony says Clifton McClifferson. I don't even need like a I don't need a fake Irish. Like literally, my last name is McDaniel. Like I'm
Yeah, you're already,
Irish
yeah, that's
heritage.
already pretty
Yeah.
Irish.
Yeah, you don't have to change it up. Let's see. Yeah, I was a little bit late, guys. Sorry. It's my fault. I was telling Stacy I'm in the process of apparently moving this weekend. I was not aware of 2 days ago. So I had a bit of a hectic day, but I'm very excited. So apologies in advance if I'm a little hit or miss over the next few weeks. But it's also the holidays, so it's also like expected, right? Let's see who else is here. Oh, you're here. Hello. Tater Dom's here as well. Chris Jenkins. I don't recognize your name, but welcome.
Sorry, that's one of my Patreon members.
Oh, really? Awesome. Welcome, Chris. So good to see you, and thank you for becoming a member of the channel. Hey, I appreciate you so much. You guys, if you do want to support the channel, there's lots of ways to do so. One is becoming a member, like Chris just did. You can also support on patreon.com and get access to some fun things like our monthly movie night. We just watched Die Hard last weekend for our Christmas movie. I still don't know how I feel about that, but okay. And then we have things like our after party hangout for some of the upper tier where we hang out after every live stream. So patreon.com/Bourbon Bytes. But thank you so much, Chris, for becoming a member. Also, Gandhi Road, another name I don't recognize, but maybe you do.
Chris, yes, Chris and Gandhi. They're both awesome.
So awesome. Well, thank you all so much for tuning in. I'm so excited to have you here, and looking forward to tasting through these incredible whiskeys. Independent Joe's here as well.
Oh, hey, cheers, Joe. Thank you.
Yes, Joe. Joe and I are going to do a bit of a collaboration here very, very soon. So look forward to that. I'm not going to spoil anything, but we have some things in mind. Major Zero, Adam Free. Oh man, such a great crowd tonight. So glad to see y'all. I feel like I always feel like it's been a long time, but it's only been like a week. So I don't know why I always feel that way. Awesome. Well, so Stacey, I'm starting. I want to get my palate set to a Irish mode. So I poured me a little bit of the Redbreast 15 just to kind of get in that mindset. Did you have a pour that you're like starting out with?
I did. I just finished it. I poured Redbreast 12. Redbreast 12 is kind of my go-to, pour before I'm getting started, just to get my palate set and ready, because I've had it so often. Like I know Redbreast 12, so I can pick that out.
Yeah, I've been drinking the 15 more. I still think I prefer, like, for the money, I think the 12 is to me is a better value, but I drink it way too quickly. So like this 15's been sitting around for a while, so that's why I still have it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, Redbreast is my go-to. Like, I mean, in the US, like, there's not too many amazing options out there. I'm sure there are that I don't know that you know. But Redbreast has always just been like a go-to for me, just as like a not super premium, but
and it's easily accessible.
Exactly.
It's in all 50 states. Everywhere you go, you're going to find Redbreast. And I go to the pub, I'm going to find Redbreast 12. So yeah,
it's also easy.
We're drinking some higher proof stuff. So I'm like 48% is good starting point.
Oh, that's great to hear. I was actually going to say, like, Redbreast, I think, is always my next step recommendation, because I know a lot of people that drink Jameson. They're always like, oh, what? I want to like get more into whiskey. I like Jameson. What do you recommend? And I always say like Redbreast 12 or 15. I'm like, it's going to be a very similar flavor profile, but like it's going to be like elevated, like in a lot of ways.
Yeah, I'll recommend Redbreast 12, Powers John's Lane, or even Powers 3 Swallow is a good kind of.
I love those. I haven't had them in a minute, but I think of those two, John's Lane was my favorite for sure. Well, probably higher proof, right? That's probably why.
Yeah, I've got the cask strength too. That one, so good.
I've not had the cask strength, but I just know the regular one's like it's a little bit more.
Yeah, it is. It's a higher ABV, so you're getting a little more for your money.
Oh, of course. I always say that, and I'm like, oh, I can add water and ice cubes and make it last longer. I never make it last.
I never did. Yeah, I never either.
All right, well, let's go and get into this flight. So we're not deviating too far from our first pour. What is the first one we're having tonight?
So the first one we're going to have is actually the latest from Redbreast in the U.S., and that is the Tawny Port, which my camera probably will not focus. I got to get
let me feature yours. Hold on one second.
Here we go.
There we go.
Or at least you can kind of see it. It's fuzzy. You can see it.
It's okay. You can still read it.
Yeah. So this is the third in the Iberian series. This one is 46% ABV. This is your standard Redbreast that's bourbon and Oloroso, and this has been finished in Tawny Port casks.
Gotcha. And this is, you said, the latest release.
This is the latest worldwide release from Redbreast. The other two in the Iberian series would be Redbreast Lesto and then Redbreast PX, which
I'm a big fan of the PX.
Big favorite of you and I.
Yeah, the PX is just it's one of the more it hit so fast, and like I haven't seen it since it first came out, but it just like it was an immediate like I need to get more of this, and I never found more of it.
I bought 4 bottles of it. and I have the last third of a bottle, but it is in Ohio. It is widespread in Ohio right now, so I can get more. Now it did get marked up to $150 here, whereas this one is 99.
But if you know you like it, like that's stretching it. But like I could maybe, I don't know. I still have a bottle. I'm still debating whether
I'm expecting it to still be there after Christmas, and then maybe
spend some of the Christmas money,
Yeah.
So with this one, now ports. I've done a stream where I've tasted through different ports, Tawny, PX, like all or PX Sherry and things like that. It's been a while. So what are the major, I guess, differences between this and let's say the PX? I've not done them side by side, so I'm curious.
The PX is a sherry finish. You're going to get more. I get notes of like orange and citrus and chocolates on the PX. The Tawny port of the ports between Ruby and Tawny is not as sweet. This one, I'm getting more like raisins and figs, and I still do get some chocolate on this one.
Oh yeah, it's really like a darker note for sure. It's like
it is. It's
not like that bright fruity kind of like with the PX. The PX is like so sweet and so dessert forward.
This has some more richness to it.
Yeah, it's almost like, I mean, I've had some like really dark, not ports, but just like some really dark like red wines that kind of has that like coating like element. I'm getting a little bit of that on the nose too.
I get kind of I don't know, it's like almond or hazelnut on this.
Yeah, I feel like I'm so inexperienced with Irish that I feel like I always get those similar notes. I'm not able to pull apart.
Yeah, you probably do. Almond, I get a lot on Oloroso sherry finishes. And Redbreast is, I mean, a lot of it is aged in Oloroso sherry.
Right.
So you probably are picking up that note.
I mean, it's super rich. I mean, even compared to the 15 that the 15 is more of like the typical like shortbread kind of note that you get on a lot of Irish. This adds an element of, like you said, the raisin, the darker fruits.
A little bit like dark chocolate. It is just darker, richer, but you still do get that pot still spice at the end.
Yeah, on the nose, it's just not it's not as sweet as I kind of thought it would be on the nose.
No, it's not as sweet, and it's not as much on the nose as I would have expected. Compared to these others that we're going to try, this is probably the lightest.
Okay, well, good to know. Well, cheers. Thank you for coming on the stream. Looking forward to the rest of this fight.
Sláinte.
Sláinte. Oh yeah, way more fruitiness comes out on the palate. The nose, I was struggling a little bit to find it, but this, man, I like that. I still think the PX is a lot more like decadent, I guess I would say. I don't know. I feel like there's like more of like a richness on the PX from my memory. It's been a little bit since I've had it, but this is very approachable. Very like
it is. It's not overwhelming.
Yeah, it's sweeter than the nose led on to be. I was scared that it was not going to be very sweet, but it's very sweet.
The nose leads you to think that there's not going to be a whole lot of Tawny port influence on this. And the palate, there is some there. You can, but it doesn't overwhelm the pot still spice. You can still get that single pot still distillate on this.
I like that a lot. I know you were saying earlier, like it's not your favorite in the line, but like I dig it. It kind of hits the points that I look for. I think I would love if they had this at higher proof. Of course, I've said that about everything, right? But like, I'm imagining this, but at cast strength could be really like bold and like...
That would be interesting. The Iberian series, I will say, I'm glad they are all 46%. So it is nice that for the price, for the $80-90, you're going to get a little bit higher ABV on these.
Right. Yeah, no, there's nothing wrong with it at all. I'm just imagining with these flavors, the combination seems like it would work really well at higher proofs. That's why, like, I'm just curious, I'm like, if they were to put out a cast strength release, I would definitely.
I wish I got more Tawny port on this. I wish it was more in your face. This one, it's not my favorite.
Okay.
I prefer the PX. The PX is just, those Terry's chocolate oranges you get at Christmas time?
Yep.
That is PX to me. This one, I mean, it's okay. But I mean, when you compare to these others that we're going to have, that's kind of like a gut punch of port.
I can't wait. I can't wait to see. No, I still think I prefer the PX over this for sure. The PX to me is like, it's so dessert. Like it's like the perfect, I don't want to say like holiday Irish whiskey, but it kind of does bring some of those like holiday kind of spices. And I don't know. It's just a really year-round good pour.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna leave a little bit of that in the glass. I want to come back and I want to give my ranking at the end of this before you reveal to me that these are probably ridiculously outside of my price point. So let's not talk about price until I rank it, and then you're gonna tell me price. All right, what are we moving to next?
Okay, so next we are having this is from Dingle Distillery, and this is batch 6. I think I grabbed the right. Yeah, I grabbed the right one. I have 2 of them. There we go. Batch 6.
Nice.
This is the entire maturation was in ruby port casks.
Oh, so I'm gonna really get that influence now.
You're really gonna get it on this one.
I think you've sent me Dingle before. I think the only time I've ever had it was something you sent me before. I forget which one it was. Though.
It was batch 5, I bet.
Okay.
It probably was batch 5. So this one is just a little bit higher ABV. This one is 46.5%.
Okay.
Dingle, the cool thing about Dingle, so at the time you had Bushmills, you had Middleton, you had Irish Distillers, and you had Cooley. And those, I mean, you didn't have all these other distilleries. And then in 2012, Dingle was opened, and they distill in single pot stills, in copper single pot stills.
Okay.
So you're going to get a very different notes on this one. This one is
I was going to say, I already smell it.
Yeah.
I already smell it, and I haven't even like nosed it yet. I just smelled it when I poured it.
Dingle has a very distinctive DNA. And I think part of it is because it's copper pot distilled. I think part of it is they use the malt that they use. And probably the closest American I can think, it reminds me of the Stranahan's a bit, because it's got a little bit of kind of a minerality, but it's also really, really like malty and big cereal notes on these.
That is so different than what we just had. Like
very different.
I am getting a rich sweetness. Like this one's super sweet, I think, on the nose.
Yeah, this is a no age statement. Not sure if they put on here how long. I used to know. So this series, they actually replaced. They don't make this series anymore, but they replaced it with a series called the Wheel of the Year series, and they're basing it on the Celtic calendar.
Okay.
So I've got the first. I have the first 4 releases in that series. So they did like Samhain, which is based on Celtic New Year. And then they did Lalla Breed, which is for St. Bridget Day in spring. They did Bealtaine, which is a summer festival, like a fire festival. And then they did Lunasa, which is the fall, the harvest.
Interesting. I know none of those holidays, but now I feel like I need to.
My Irish club always says we always have a big party for Celtic New Year.
I've seen that. Yeah, tell us a little bit about that. Like, do you like co-run that, or like what is that the organization?
Oh, I'm in a few different Irish organizations. Yeah,
I know you're always doing events. I always see them, so I didn't know if it was just 1 or 2 or what was going on.
Oh yeah. I'm involved in a few of them. I'm in the Shamrock Club of Columbus. I'm newly elected vice president of the local Hibernian chapter, and we have a wolfhound. So yeah, we're big involved in the local community. I do whiskey tastings in Columbus all the time. Do Irish whiskey tastings.
That's so cool. If y'all are ever in the Columbus area, hit her up. Yeah, I love the nose. I'm gonna have to go in for a taste. So cheers, and cheers to the chat. See, William Hall is joining us. A few other people.
Cheers, William Hall.
Don Ishida from Hawaii. Great crowd tonight. Cheers to y'all, and let's try some Dingle.
Yeah, there ain't no missing the port in this one.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, it's almost not even like, it's like port forward and then it's like whiskey on the finish. It's like, oh, that's a whiskey, because you do get that kind of like you said, the hot still kind of note like that, or that note that you associate with Irish.
Yeah, it's a little bit like mineralic. It's like a little bit metallic.
Yeah, but it's so forward with that. It's less of like a. This one almost reminds me more of like which I know is gonna sound dumb, like a fortified wine, because obviously, like, but yeah, but like I'm getting a little bit more of that like oxidized kind of like wine note to it.
Yeah, I get a little bit of that like pencil shaving note.
Yeah, I was gonna say sulfur, but like light sulfur. Like it's not like an overwhelming sulfur.
No, it's not overwhelming, but it's there. But I think the malt is so strong in this. The ruby port is so strong. You do get a lot of the dark chocolate cocoa notes. You get a lot of those, like figgy, jammy, kind of raisiny notes.
Yeah, I feel like that's not gonna be like your everyday pour. Like that's like something you pull out like when you're in a specific mood for
Yeah,
that.
you're not sitting down and getting through half a bottle of this. It's way too rich.
Yeah, that's so interesting. Very different from the.
Very
Now,
different.
are these both tawny port? Both this and the red
This,
dress?
no, this is a ruby port.
Ruby port. Okay,
The
gotcha.
first one was tawny, and this one's
Okay.
ruby. So it's a little bit sweeter.
Gotcha. Yeah, but you can tell that cask has just had a dramatic impact on that.
Yeah, the color difference, big color difference.
Oh yeah, it's hard to tell from the glass. Yeah, look at the bottle. Like that's so dark. He says not age shaded, right? Or they
Oh, we got darker ones coming too.
Oh, okay. Oh, I can see. Well, look at this last one. We'll save the last one for the end because I'm not scared of it. I'm just very intrigued by it.
I know it's one that you hold up and you're like, is that a bourbon? No.
Right? It's so dark. Wow.
But
Then I see the age on there. Okay, I'm not gonna spoil it. I'm not gonna spoil it. We're gonna work our way there. All right, let's go ahead and move to the next one. This one I like the name, the Liberator. What is it? Devil?
Yes, this is one of my favorite distilleries, especially for port finished Irish. Okay. This is the Liberator, and this was a special release done for a Facebook group called Friends of Irish Whiskey. And this one is called the Reeks Devil's Ladder, and it's named for the mountains around Killarney.
Okay.
This one I actually had to write this down because I'm never going to remember this. 25% of it is made up of a 2015 Great Northern grain that was finished in ruby port for 19 months. 15% of it is a 2006 Cooley double distilled malt finished in tawny port. 60% of it is a 2015 Great Northern triple distilled malt finished in tawny port. So then it was blended together in ex-bourbon casks for 30 months and left to just kind of chill all together. And this is a cask strength release that was 58.13%.
Wow. That's, you said, what was the age of the Cooley in there?
The Cooley is a 2006.
Wow. That's got some age on it.
There's not a lot of Cooley stock around anymore. So you're gonna start seeing not that many Cooley malt whiskeys that are this old anymore.
Yeah, I'm very.
They're just out of them.
Yeah, I've had some before, but like again, I don't recall like what year or anything. I'm familiar with it, but I just know it's like pretty hard to come by these days.
You tried their regular tawny port offering in the first batch that I sent you. That one is available in the US now.
Okay, I would say that sounds familiar. It sounds familiar.
Yeah, you can get it in a handful of states. I absolutely love this brand. The gentleman who runs this brand, Morris O'Connell, is one I just want to sit on the porch of his estate and have a pour with him all day and just hear his stories. His family is a descendant of Daniel O'Connell, who was the first Irishman to British Parliament, who fought for Irish rights. And he is actually a lord, so it's Sir Morris O'Connell. And I joke and I said, if I ever meet him, I'm gonna be like, if you're ever in the market to adopt, a 40s American woman.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I see some people in the chat. Gandhi says he's having some Redbreast Stout.
Oh, that's a nice one.
And then is it Braden? Just poured that one in my glass.
Brian, Mr. Redham. Yes, Brian.
Brian. My favorite Liberator.
Yeah. It might be my favorite as well. There's another one that's a contender, but this one just might be my favorite as well.
I see Chris or Lil has actually joined us from Darwin. Chris just had a loss in the family, and you all are in our thoughts. Hopefully everything is going well. Wishing you
deepest condolences.
Lots of love, and we're here if you need us. But yes, good to see you here in the chat. All right, so let's go ahead. I'm gonna go ahead and give this one notes. Like I said, the one that I had. What's the difference between this and the one that I had?
So this one, the one before was all ruby port. That was entirely ruby port matured.
Okay.
This one is ruby port and tawny port finished, and then they've blended these together. The other one was a single malt. This one is a blend, considered a blend.
Sure.
Because it is made up of malt and grain whiskey. The other one that they have, the tawny port, is actually called a vatted. It's one of the first vatted malts in Ireland. I think it was like 50 or 70 years. And that one was a blend of two different malt whiskeys from two different distilleries.
Gotcha. Okay.
This would just be considered a blend.
I was going to say on the nose, you mentioned pencil shavings on the last one. I'm actually getting a little bit on this one. I'm getting that kind of like pencil shaving note.
I have gotten that on some of these, especially the older ones.
Yeah, it's. I was gonna say like wood chips. I'm like, it's almost like even more specific than that. It's like it's definitely like
I can
fresh.
see I get like fig Newtons on this.
Oh man, my palate's so. I mean, I do get that, but I think the first thing that surprised me, I think coming off of that last one,
That
so
last,
weird.
yeah, that last one was.
Let me
was
actually
a
get
lot.
some water and cleanse my palate because I feel like I'm.
Yeah, that's how I filled my water because I know that second. I wanted to go by ABV, but I know that second one is a lot. I mean, you're
Yeah.
talking about something that's spent probably 8 to 10 years all in a ruby port cask.
Gosh, and it shows. It's
Tony,
very
Tony,
obvious.
you'll have to shoot me an email. I'd be happy to recommend some places, and if you're going to some distilleries, if I know anybody there, I'm happy to give them a heads up for you.
Oh, that's awesome, Tony. Yeah, you'll let us know how that goes. I mean, I've not been to Ireland. It's on my bucket list because again, like my heritage, like that's like my people. So I want to go.
We're planning to go next year.
Oh, nice.
We are planning to go with a big group of friends. So we'll see. We're hoping.
That's awesome. Have you been before?
I have, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. No, I've flown over it, and I'm like, ever since that moment, I'm like, I gotta go visit.
They don't from Columbus, but they do direct flights from Cleveland now, so they made it a little easier.
Well, I'm moving basically to be like next door to LAX, so I'm hopefully gonna be a little bit easier to go on flights now that I'm so close to the airport. Oh, I love the nose on this though. Now that I've gone back to it, now that I've cleansed my palate a bit, I'm seeing more than that like shaving note. It's definitely more of like you said fig Newton, 100%. I get that.
Yeah,
too.
yeah. I get
Now,
fig Newtons on this one.
I'm excited to try it. Cheers. Sláinte. I always say cheers. I'm so used to that.
Sancha. That one's got some spice. That one's got some heat on it.
Oh yeah. Wow. Again, I feel like all the noses on these are so different than the palate. That's what I'm experiencing so far. That is so
right.
good.
It's amazing. They're all port. It's all
Yeah.
port, but they're all different.
That is like delicious. Like I'm like honestly, that is probably one of the better whiskeys I've had. Like that is incredible.
If you are looking for a port finished Irish whiskey, like I said, and you see this little diamond, you're not gonna be able to do much better than the Liberator.
That's
They
incredible.
know how to
so
finish
good.
port casks. So Morris has connections in Portugal and connections with the port industry. It goes down there himself and picks out these casks and brings them back. So
It's like
he's
a
got
balance.
a lot of involvement, and that he tends to fill them pretty wet.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's like a really nice balance between the spice and like there's the sweetness there for sure, but again, it's that darker fruit sweetness, the figs, the raisins, all that. The ABV, what did you say the ABV on this one was?
I think the ABV helps balance all that sweetness. It's 58.13.
Okay, that's I love that. I love that proof. This is incredible. Like probably one of my favorite Irish whiskeys I've had so far.
And he normally does these storehouse special bottles. He does have some of these over coming to the US.
Okay.
But he normally does them in a smaller version. It was just this group got together and he did a big version for us. But they do, and all of these storehouse special bottles, let me tell you, I have like four or five of them. They're all hitters. They're all so good.
I was gonna say after trying this, I'm like, as soon as
it's that higher proof point. Yeah.
That is so good. Yeah, that's gonna be hard to beat. And we got 2 more to drink, but like that's definitely in my contenders for probably
These last three are all really, really good.
Okay. All right, well, let's keep it moving. I'm gonna go, like I said, I'm gonna go back through and rank them at the end. But that one's that's pretty incredible. That's exciting. And you said that the Liberator was one of my favorites last time. I think you said like the one that I had.
Yes, I think you picked it second, next to the Bushmills Causeway Duro bottle, the Duro port.
How long ago was this? Why do I not remember? I remember the Liberator. I remember that bottle, but I don't remember any of the other ones.
Well, the post stream when the hangout, you kept the thing is you picked the Bushmills, but you drank the Liberator one through the entire post stream. You're like, oh my, this is so good. So
yeah. Well, at least now I know. But by the way, you're welcome to join us for the after party hangout if you're around tonight. You're absolutely welcome.
I got nothing planned.
Okay, are you already in the Discord? Are you still in the Discord? If not,
I am. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
I'm bad about using Discord.
Yeah, normally I always like do a post like tell me like, hey guys, about to go live, and today just has been chaotic, and I totally forgot to do that. So I appreciate y'all that showed up without my little notification. Thank y'all for showing up. Yeah, that's so good. Okay, we got to keep it moving. What's next? This.
So next we're going back to this is a Ruby Port finish, and this is Toman Gate single malt. Oh, it's not going to focus.
Is that one word or two words? It's 2 words. Okay.
2 words. There it goes. Kind of focusing. Alrighty. Well, this is Tome and Gate. So this is the first whiskey distillery that is operating in Limerick in 100 years. This is a source whiskey. This is Great Northern sourced, and this has been finished in ruby port casks. So everything they do is no artificial color. This is non-chill filtered, bottled all at cask strength. So this one is 59.77%.
Okay.
I think I had this bottle a week after it was bottled.
Oh, really? Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah. And they send you this nice little certificate that comes with it that tells about the actual port cask, that it had 3 years of holding ruby port. It was emptied, transported to Ireland, and it was filled with a 6-year-old spirit. And I thought it said how long it sat in there. Yes, it's been bottled, uncut, and unaltered. And Tome and Gate is, so if anybody goes to Ireland and they're wanting to bring back a bottle and they're wanting to what to look for, what's one that I can't get here that I really should know about and look for? Get Tome and Gate. This is one this actually is available in the US in one place, and that is Folsom Wine and Spirits in California.
Okay.
They have this bottle.
Why just one place? Like they just like know the owners?
They're the only distributor right now for the US.
Okay.
They have this ruby port bottle. This is kind of known to be a collector bottle. I open all of them. I know Nick Ryan wants people from Tome and Gate wants people to open all of them.
Right.
They do outstanding job of sourcing casks, of finishing casks.
Yeah, on the nose, I'm almost like, it's almost giving me some like kind of a bit of a bourbon note. I don't know if it's like the oak or just like there's definitely more of like the vanilla kind of.
I do get more vanilla on this one.
Yeah. Definitely less of like that really like fruitiness that I think I was getting the other one, but it's still really like it smells rich and it smells dense. And
yeah, I don't think the cask was quite as wet on this one. Not quite as dark as the Liberator bottle.
Mm-hmm. I see Pinch Hitter Whiskey Lounges in the chat as well as Swan. Cheers to y'all. Thanks
cheers, Jim.
Yes, thank y'all for tuning
Cheers,
in.
Swan. This
I
one
gotta
got more of the malt on it too.
I think so. Yeah, I think it's like, but it's like a malt, but it's also to me, I'm getting oak in the malt, which is like a good combo.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited to try it.
Slash it. I love this one. You do get that little bit of spice from the wood from the cask at the end.
Yeah, like it sits on the tip of the tongue. Like even though when you swallow it and it's like going
it's all right up front. Yeah,
like it's going through all the motions down your tongue and throat, and like you're getting like the more rich. Like I'm almost getting like it's like a weird note, but I'm almost getting like a not maple syrup, but this is weird. I'm getting like a blueberry syrup. That's so weird and random. But I'm getting
I get a little bit of a chili pepper.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it does have like a bit of a burn on the back palate.
Yeah.
That's again deceptive on the nose. I think the maltiness carries through. That malt characteristic is there throughout. But I think I'm getting way more fruity. I gotta have another sip before I give an opinion on that. It kind of surprised me by how rich and like the mouthfeel is just really incredible on it.
It is, yeah. And so the one thing I do love about Tome and Gate also, Nick Ryan bottles all of this non-chill filtered. It's all no color. It's all bottled at cask strength. Everything he's released is he only I know of one release that wasn't quite cask strength because he didn't think it was as good, so he just added just a little water. It's proof down. It's still, I mean, I think above 50. And that one he did because Limerick won the GAA in was hurling, was very Irish sport, and so he did a special bottle called a Clash of the Ash, and I have that one back here too, and that's a bourbon finish, but. Everybody, I'm like, they asked me what should I pick up if I'm going to Ireland. I'm like, well, there's a whole lot of airport exclusives. If you're going to wander into a shop outside of the airport, look for Tome and Gate. If you see one of these, grab it because there's only one place in the US you can get these. It's a cask strength whiskey. It's a very well done whiskey, great packaging. And it's just a great independent brand.
It kind of lingers on the palate, like not just like to
It
finish,
does.
but I feel like I still taste it. Like I'm getting like
Yeah.
almost not like quite menthol, but it kind of lingers like a mint kind of does on the palate, and I like that. That's interesting.
Yeah.
It gives you a lot to think on. Like you don't have to go in immediately for the next sip. You get to like savor the flavor a bit and like think on it a bit. I like.
Yeah,
that.
this is another one that's really rich.
It definitely like took me a second sip to really, I guess, begin to understand it. It feels way more like, I don't say more complex, because like complex is like relative, but I think there's a lot of layers to this one.
I would agree with that. Yeah. I mean, and that's a reason why his whiskeys have become really collectible, is and when this retails, I mean, like 80 euro. It's not
Okay.
a lot.
Yeah.
But it's got so much in this bottle. There's so many layers of complexity. There's so much going on. It's a cask strength, so it's just a really good deal. And Irish whiskey, real people are really heavy into Irish whiskey, are really excited about what Tomagate is doing.
I was gonna say, like, I don't think I've tasted anything in that realm in the US like available. I'm like you said, there's one store technically I can get this from, but like
You're in California, so you can get it.
yeah, I don't know, where is that in San Francisco? I recognize it sounds familiar.
Folsom Wine and Spirits.
Okay.
They do ship, so you're in
Okay,
California.
okay.
So.
Good to know. That's good info to have in mind. Yeah, that's really interesting. It's definitely yeah, like I said, like complex, layered. I guess I see why you recommend it as a gift for people that are like, gonna bring home one bottle.
Yeah.
Adam said, going through Dublin, you've got to check out those Loop exclusive bottles.
Yes, you can get there's the Bushmills 80/20 that you can only get at the airport. There's the Jameson Triple, which is an outstanding bottle that you can get at the airport.
I've had that. You know what's funny? The Jameson Triple. Weirdly enough, I was staying at an all inclusive in Mexico, and like there was like a pool bartender that was like right in front of like where we were staying, and it was our last day. He had been serving us the whole time, and we just got talking about like spirits and stuff and like mezcal and stuff, and I was like, oh, I'm really into whiskey. And for some reason, he had the bottle of the Jameson Triple that he just like pulled out from under. I'm like, you've been hiding this from me this whole week, and then I've been here. But then the thing is, like, I had like a cup, like I don't, it wasn't quite this big, but like about half the size of this one, and he just filled it up completely with it and like killed the bottle, and like he gave himself a little bit of it too. I'm like, dude, like it was delicious, but like it was also like 110 degrees, and trying to drink that, it got warm.
Oh yeah.
But I enjoyed it for the first like 20 minutes of having it. Then I'm like, can't drink this. It's hot.
Last time I flew international was back through Toronto, but I was connecting there and had to go through customs there. And of course they didn't have anything. I wanted the triple.
Matthew Park says hello. Good to see you, Mark. Matthew.
Hey, Matthew.
And you said
Brian. Yeah,
Brian
that Tomagate is one of his favorites. He has that one. Yeah.
And Tony said he saw the triple in Chile. Oh, interesting. Yeah, I saw it. Like I said,
I tell you, it's worth picking up. It really is.
Yeah, I'm almost wondering if the bartender like got it as a gift from maybe a guest that had stayed there previously. Because I'm like, how do you have this? Why do you have this?
Well, if he's local, he might have had to fly out and saw it there.
Yeah. But he told me like it was a place I'm not gonna necessarily go back to. I stayed there with friends. He's like, if you come back, can you bring me a bottle of Knob Creek? I'm like, yes, because he said they don't get Knob Creek out there. So I'm like, if I come back, I will bring you Knob Creek.
It's funny you said that, because I've already planned if I go over, if our trip happens and I go over next year, I'm already planning. I'm like, okay, I'm going to need to bring this from Middle West and this from Middle West. And yeah.
Yeah, it's just so weird to see like what's available just outside of the U.S. I'm going to Costa Rica next week, and not really hopeful for the whiskey selection, but I've heard they have a lot of really cool like they like have their own version of rum. I forget what it's called, but like it's like their local spirit version of rum. So I'm hoping.
I bet they have some good rum down there.
Yeah, so I'm excited for that. I don't have to. I'll bring a bottle of whiskey for the plate like where we're staying, but like I love trying local spirits, local cocktails. That's my favorite part about traveling.
I plan on bringing American whiskey to give as gifts to a few people over in Ireland if I get there.
Oh yeah, I'm sure they appreciate it. I've heard. Well, no, it was Scotland. It was there's some people that watch my channel that went to Scotland with Chad and Sarah for their they did like a meetup thing in Scotland last year or earlier this year, and they said like the selection of like American spirits in bars was pretty actually surprising. They were surprised to see a lot of American bourbons.
They do get quite a bit. I can tell you that big store that I've bought things before, Carry Out Killarney, has their own single cask of Buffalo Trace. They have a carry-out
Really?
cologne version of Buffalo Trace.
How does that even happen? Like, how do they make that collaboration happen?
I have no idea.
That's awesome. All right, we got one more to try, and then I'm gonna tell you my favorites. But this next, this is one that I was like,
I'm excited about this one.
I wasn't scared of it, but I'm very intrigued. Tell us about the last bottle.
So this is one of my favorites. I should preface this. So recently I was voted as or kind of picked as the chairperson for the Cologne enthusiast group. It's a group worldwide of about 1,000 people, and the distillery pick a person every. They just started it, so I got the first one, and I'm like, holy crap!
That's awesome.
Yeah, and I am super excited about it. I love that it is in the U.S. now. This specific bottle is not. This one is long gone. It sold out very quickly. So this is Cologne. This is a tawny port finished, and this is a peated whiskey.
Tawny port finish.
And this is white label. Sorry guys, white label.
Okay, we can see the say June 2023. Oh, so this is like new.
This was this past year. Look at the freaking color on this.
Oh my gosh, that's
like
so
cola.
dark. Wow.
This is like cola. So this one is 3 years old.
Okay.
56.05% ABV.
Okay.
This is probably my second favorite from Cologne of their. So this is their own distillate. That's why it's only 3 years old.
Okay.
I absolutely love Cologne. They're the smallest distillery in Ireland. So all of their own distillate bottles like this come with this nice little card that tells you exactly what is in it, exactly what type of distillation they used.
Wow.
What type of fermentation they used. So this is made, and they measure everything by the sack in an old school way. So this is made up of 3 sacks of unmalted barley, 7 sacks of smoked malted barley, 2 sacks of oats, 1 sack of wheat, 1 sack of rye. This one spent 6 months in fresh, wet, tawny port casks. Even after a quick water rinse, the cask has influenced the color massively.
Yeah, that color. I'm just admiring. This color is unlike any whiskey I've ever seen. That is like,
that's literally you're probably looking at that like, does she send me bourbon?
Well, it's not even just dark. It has like a bit of like the red hue, like the red.
It
like,
does. Yeah.
That is so. It's almost like a rosé, like a really dark rosé.
It does. It has like kind of like a burgundy pinkish hue.
Yeah. Wow. You said 6 months in like the wet cask.
6 months and just a rinsed wet cask. So I absolutely love Cologne. I love what they're doing. He does worm tub condensers. He has hand made Portuguese pot stills. He does a lot of, he'll call it domestic yeast. That means he rolls the freaking thing outside.
Okay.
And it just lets nature take its course.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. So he doesn't he only does actual measurements on the things he has to for the Irish government. Otherwise, it's all by taste. It's all by what tastes good.
Mm-hmm. So do they tax it kind of like we do in the U.S., like where it's like the longer it sits in the barrel, like the more taxes they have to pay on it?
They do tax them. Okay. You'll see a lot that says bottled and bond. That just means that the tax was paid where it actually was distilled. That's all that means over there.
Interesting.
It has to be distilled in a bonded whiskey warehouse. Bonded whiskey warehouse just means the tax man's been paid.
Okay. So if it doesn't say that, it's the better whiskey. I'm just kidding. No.
Oh, I have some that actually just say whiskey or that say Irish spirit drink. Oh, and that means that the warehouse it was distilled in actually was not considered bonded by the tax man.
That's fun. Yeah.
So, yeah.
Oh man, the nose in this it's combining all of the great things I had about this, but adding it to the peated element is there now.
This is going to blow your mind that this is a 3-year-old whiskey. 3 years.
Could not tell in the nose. That's
no, it does. None of the Colognes drink like they're 3 years old.
It almost reminds me of like a Texas whiskey with how rich it smells. It smells so dark and hefty. I'm gonna try it. Sláinte.
I switched to my Cologne Cult glass here that I have. That is what the enthusiast group is called. We're called the Cologne Cult.
It's the good kind of cult, apparently. Oh wow. I'm still sticking with the whole, like, it kind of reminds me of like a Texas whiskey kind of thing. Like it has like some of that, like, I don't know how
It
to,
does. It has that like brown sugar. Yeah,
yeah, like the really darker, like really like almost like a charred, like a really heavily charred.
Yeah.
It almost kind of like, this is again another weird tasting note, but it's like you have like grape jelly on toast, but the toast is a little
Yeah.
bit burnt, like a burnt toast.
Yeah,
with
like
grape
it
jelly.
is. It's like burnt toast with grape jelly. The thing that I love about this is one of my favorites. So 3-year-old whiskey does not, if you didn't know this was 3 years old, you would not guess this is 3 years old
No.
at all. And I'm absolutely so excited that we can't get this bottle over here now, but we can get Cologne released a 3-year-old white cognac finish. So they have their 3-year-old single pot still that was finished in a Hennessy white cognac cask, and that is available in US. It's in New York, it's in Kentucky at Party Source, it's at Folsom, it's in a few Minnesota, it's in a few states.
I cannot. I mean, if there's no way I would place that as like a Irish whiskey in general. I'll be honest.
Mhm.
Like if you gave me this and it was like we're doing a competition, you're like, what type of whiskey is this? I would just be stuck. I would be like, I have no idea what I just drank. I like it, but I don't know what I just drank.
This is one, honestly, I could sit by the fire and just have a big glass of this and just be sipping it all night.
That's very, very interesting and flavorful. Troy from Baker Drink says, cheers, Clifton and Stacey.
Oh, hey, Troy.
Good to see you, Troy.
Cheers
And
to
Tony,
you.
some people don't forget to like and subscribe. Yes, I'm about to go through and give my final thoughts on these in my ranking. It's tough because I know these are all special.
I threw some good ones at you.
You did. You really did. I think I have my ranking. There's a couple I'm like back and forth with. The earlier ones that are a little bit lower proof, I want to kind of revisit them just a bit to kind of remind myself of like what I like. The Dingles. Oh, this is tough. It's very like I know my first and second place. The rest are a bit of a toss up.
Yeah, I was looking back at the lists of what I sent you today, and I'm like, wow, there's some those are good. That's stuff I drink all the time.
All right, I'm gonna give my ranking, and then you're gonna let us know the values of these because I feel like I'm gonna be like, hopefully I'll be very happy because my favorite might be the cheapest. You never know.
You know
All right, so my favorite, I mean, you could probably judge by my reaction when I tried it. The Liberator, the Devil's Ladder.
Yes.
That's
so this
absolutely
one, this one was a one-off. So,
okay. So I can't get it. No luck in getting that one.
Well, you can't get that one, but you can get their storehouse special of the double port, which is similar because this is a double port. So it would be similar. It would be cask strength.
Okay.
Those retail usually about 60, 70 euro. Those are a little bit smaller bottle, but those are going to be available in the US. It's just a select group of states. I know Ohio's getting some. I know it's in New York. So he just started releasing in the US and he's going to be working his way around.
Okay, I will keep an eye out for sure. California usually gets it pretty early when things come to the US. So hopefully California.
You guys are either like the first ones or the last ones.
Yeah,
depending
we
on what
a lot of
they come into.
A lot of great spirits get imported here first, and like people like always start in California. And then of course everyone's always mad, like, why does California get everything?
Well, it's either you guys or Jersey because they come in through Jersey.
Oh yeah, great point. Kathy Joe's in the chat. She
said, Kathy Joe.
Cheers to you, Kathy Joe.
I so want an autograph picture of Kathy Joe. I watch her all the time. Every Boise State game.
Oh really? Oh, you see like the games and like,
the Boise State games. Yeah, I started watching those. My husband, I'm like jumping up and down.
I always see the videos and photos on Facebook. It's always like I'm like, yes, I know her. All right, so that's my favorite. My second favorite, actually, I think I'm gonna give it to is it Toman Gate?
Oh, the Toman Gate?
Yeah, that's got to be my second favorite. I like that one.
So at Folsom, I did not look this up to see what it is at Folsom. When it released in Ireland, it was, I want to say I paid like 75 euro.
Okay.
So I don't think it's more
similar,
than. Yeah. So I mean, you should be able to find it over there still for 100, but 100 euro at most.
Okay, good to know. Now this is where I get conflicted. I'm like, oh, like my third place. It's like I really like the Kilo and how different and how unique it is. Mm-hmm. It's not entirely like my typical flavor profile, so like it's a little it throws me off a little bit. Not that it's bad. Like I wouldn't drink it any day. Trust me. I think I'm gonna put my third place. Actually, I think I'm gonna put Dingle. Dingle is my third place.
Okay.
I like the influence on this. Like how much was impacted by that. You said this was the one that was fully
This
matured.
is not. Yeah. This one it isn't available anymore, but you can still find it in stores. This one I'm thinking it went for 80, 100.
Okay.
Same.
And that being said, the Killowen is the close following that one in fourth place. The Killowen is
Yeah, the Killowen, you will not find this one anymore.
Okay.
Yeah, the Killowen, that is the one thing I will say about the US Killowen Baron Tool release. I hope people snap them up because these release in Ireland and they're gone. Like it's like that. It's a massive following. This one, you might be able to find it on some secondary sites like Irish Whiskey Auctions.
Okay.
You're probably going to pay $100 to $200 for it.
Gotcha.
It was very, very popular.
Yeah, I can see why. It's definitely I can see why it's well liked. It's like I said, it's a little bit not quite my flavor profile, but like I can appreciate everything.
It's different. Yeah,
yes.
the peated element. It's really different, and I think it's not just the peat. I mean, I think
like,
rye too. It adds a little bit of spice because of that rye that's in there.
To me, it's like it's not the peat that like I think the peat complemented it. I like that.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was a little too. To me, it was a little too smoky or charred. There was another element there that was like reminding me, like I kept saying, like Texas whiskey. It kind of reminds me of, like, or even more so, reminds you of like when, like with a bourbon, sometimes they'll use like a smaller barrel to kind of accelerate the
Well,
aging.
he does. Yeah, he does use barrel when he does barrels. He actually, Brendan says he's the worst investment you could ever make because a lot of times he'll only fill a barrel halfway.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, so his releases are smaller.
Gotcha.
As a result of that, the other thing is even some of his non-peated stuff, you might get kind of a smokier note. Because I think is it the Maillard effect, where because it's domestic yeast. Because he's just rolling it outside and letting nature take over the yeast. I think sometimes it gets that.
Yeah, it's like I said, unlike any other Irish I've had, which means my last place, not to say anything bad about it, is the red breast, but that's only because the only reason I put it last place is it's the most traditional of these all. Like it is what I get from a lot of Irish whiskey.
I would have picked this as last.
Yeah,
I would have as well.
I don't think it's bad. It's just more of these are all so unique and so different, so complex, and this was like good, but like the others were more exciting.
There's nothing wrong with it. I mean, it's okay. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just there's a lot of new brands out there. There's more and more coming to the US. I can tell you just where I'm at in Ohio, they're about to introduce I think 26, 28 new brands next year of Irish whiskey. Wow. So the good thing is the states are recognizing that people are buying more Irish whiskey. We're spending more money on Irish whiskey. So more brands are getting the money and able to come over. So that is always a good thing. If I had to pick, it would be between the Killowen and the Liberator would be my top two. And it just depends if you're in a peated mood, you know, not.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like and that's what I said about like, I don't know which one I actually said that on about. What I was like, you have to be in the mood. Like you have to be intentionally drinking this. You're not just going to drink this on a whim. Like
no, yeah, you and it just goes if you go either way on those, but. Yeah, it just kills me because it's like there's two different types of casks of port casks used in all of these, but they're so vastly different.
I mean, every single one. Like, yeah, that's man. And now, okay, so my favorites. I'm trying to see what cask. So the Liberator was that Ruby port you said?
Ruby and Tawny port.
Ruby
it was a combination. Yeah,
and so
there's malt from two different distilleries.
Okay,
there's a grain whiskey in there from one.
Oh, right, yeah.
And there's two different casks.
And then the Toman Gate was Ruby port. So okay.
That was that's a Ruby port.
The Dingle
was all matured in a Ruby port.
Okay, so I'm thinking like Ruby might be more my jam.
You seem to gravitate where you like the Ruby port a little better.
I think so too.
And that makes sense because I like Tawny port a little better.
Gotcha. Okay, yeah, that would explain. the Killowen, like you said, it was Tawny port.
That's Tawny.
Such a heavy influence from that. Well, this was amazing. Thank you again, Stacey. Like you introduced me to so many different flavors and whiskeys that I just do not have the opportunity to try, and that's why I love having you on the channel. you're welcome back anytime, as always. Like seriously. Or if you want me to come on your channel, I'd love to.
I would love that. I would love
Come
to
on.
send you even more whiskey and have you on my channel. I would love that. I absolutely
Well,
would.
You said at the beginning of the stream you had a fun stream coming up this Sunday. If anyone missed it, give a shout out for what you have upcoming soon that people should keep an eye out for.
I am so excited. So we are having a Cologne Christmas this Sunday at 6:30 p.m. We do have to go a little later because he's got a prayer event and it's Irish time. So we're cutting a break. I'm having Brendan Carty from Cologne Distillery on the channel. I've also got a couple extra guests that are going to join me as well to kind of be a whiskey panel and just kind of because I'm obviously I'm a huge fan, so I want people who don't know quite as much to be able to jump in and offer some stuff too. So it's going to be super fun. I'm giving my Patreon giveaway also on Sunday. I'm giving my Patreons. One of my Patreons will win a sample of every single cologne that I have up here.
Oh,
So there's
that's
6
a lot. Wait, where are the bottles? Which one? Is that the
Right.
second right there?
Right there.
Wow.
All 6 Cologne Baron tools I'm gonna send to one of my Patreon members. They're gonna get a sample of all of them.
That's awesome. You guys, I put a link to her channel down in the description below. Go subscribe, check out her Patreon. Make sure to hit notifications to be notified of that stream this Sunday. I will supposedly be moving, so I'll probably miss it, but I can't wait to watch the replay.
Oh my gosh, I don't know how you're doing it. Goodness.
I don't either, but I'll figure it out. Well, Stacey, thank you so much. You're like I said, you said you're on the Discord, so I'll make sure you have access to the after party hangout. For those of you that are patrons, like I said, everyone $10 and up get access to our after party hangout, which happens after every Thursday night live stream. I'll be joining there shortly. I will make sure Stacey has access and she can party with us for a little bit. But Stacey, again, thank you so much. This has been so much
Thank
fun.
you, Clifton. It was
Educational and delicious and just I love like I said, bourbon's still my first love, but Irish whiskey is like a close second. Both of them just they have my heart.
Well, sláinte everyone. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays.
Merry Christmas. Cheers. I will see you guys probably next week unless moving is chaos, and then we'll see. But cheers. See y'all soon. Bye. Another pieces just for spirits. These are series, so it's going to be my first time. Is the correctly product? I just releases of this new series. Of course, talking about the Amberana and the Tale of Two Islands. So if you're watching the replay, feel free to skip around in the stream. I'm going to put time codes down below the stream. I'm going to put time codes down below where you can skip to your whiskey of choice. But if you're watching live, hello, good to see some of you as well. I see some people in the chat. Whiskey Wisdom, first of all, hello, and thank you again for inviting me to your channel. If you have not checked out Whiskey Wisdom, it is a awesome live stream. He goes live on Thursday nights. Or sorry, not Thursday night, Friday nights. Sorry, think about myself again. Yeah, it's really, really great stream. Check out the replay from last week. I was actually going to pull up his link here. Let me find it. I think I had it. I'm going to drop his link tree. That'll work. But yeah, Matt reached out a few last week actually and asked me to be on his stream, and it was a lot of fun. So check out his channel. There we go. So, sorry, I didn't have that pulled up. Yeah, you can check out his YouTube channels there as well. Really fun, informative. They do some whiskey news, some fun trivia, which I didn't do as bad as I thought. Zopher was a winner on the trivia night last week, but thank you again for the invite. It was a lot of fun. Donnie and Adam in the chat, and Steven Sussman, excited for these. I enjoyed the OG Tale of Two Islands rum. I have not had it. I'm very excited to give this a try. A spoiler alert, I did have a little bit of this earlier, but wanted to get a little, get some initial notes, but I'm excited to revisit it for the live stream just to kind of share my thoughts on this one. Five fingers in that chat. High five to you as well. Zopher, of course, I think I just gave you a shout out, but welcome back. And Tony Bag of Donuts, great crowd tonight. So good to see so many of you hanging out. If you are new, I go live every Thursday night We do whiskey reviews, interviews, a little bit of gaming, a little bit of 80s. It's kind of my vibe here. Speaking of which, we're going to do our monthly movie night on Patreon probably next weekend. So if you have a recommendation for a favorite 80s movie, go drop it on our Discord server. I put a link down in the description below. Always looking for suggestions. We do that for everyone $5 and up on Patreon. So get your votes in now. I want to get some suggestions for what movie we're watching this month. We've watched some really great ones lately, so I'm excited to see what you guys pull out for me tonight. Or pull out for me tonight. Wow. Pull out for me this month. Might as well go with it. Continue the pun. But I'm really excited to try these new releases. Curious in the chat, have you had any finished releases from barrel outside of course, the Seagrass, what are all of them? There's the Seagrass, there's the Vantage, I think. I've done them all on the channel. It's been a while. But I know they do a bunch of single barrel selects and they do some really unique finishes. So I'm curious, what is some of your favorite finishes you've tried from barrel? I have not had a single barrel from there yet, like a store pick, but I'm really excited to see how these do. Because I imagine these are probably going to be some of their options for Seagrass, Vantage, Dovetail. That was the one I was forgetting. There's also another one. There's the Armida, I think. So I'm curious to hear what single cask you guys have had and what you've had it finished in. What's up, Emily? Good to see you in the chat. Yeah, so let's go ahead and dive in, right? I was a little bit late tonight, so we'll keep it moving. We're gonna start with the first one. This is the Amberana cask, which I've actually been seeing pop up a lot lately. I've reviewed other whiskeys that are Amberana cask. This floral barrels, staves, or other oak alternatives, like many